little crazy and parabolic, and I think we should always have a bit of a grain of salt for these types of names because we've seen the back end come in, which it did here today. So with all that being said, yeah, it looks okay. The good thing about it too is it seems to really be holding like structurally on VWAP and the $10 level. Like this looked like it was done right when we were leaving you guys in the morning, and then it just bounced pretty cleanly off the $10 level, which is also holding support. You're seeing it break a little bit of trend right now. So it might have another second leg in it here. Volume is much better than liquidity if you pull up a level 2, like 200 million shares worth of volume, but it's not going to move like that. Like it's not going to move like an open door where you can visibly see the liquidity and you're probably not going to get your stops run as much. It's very, very thin on level 2. Like here's there's BBAI, but here's AGMH. When you throw that up, yeah, it's done a ton of volume, but there's not a great amount of liquidity in this name. So while it has been relatively stable in terms of no halts, it does have the look and feel of something that could, halt up or down on you. So just be a little bit careful. Understand that with your stops. It is trying to break a bit of a consolidation right now. But yeah, for me, I don't like chasing these ones when they've shown you the back end. And that certainly looks like the back end to me.
All right. Yeah, we do like back ends around there, especially that kind of a trade for AGMH. Everyone missed I said AGM, Annual General Meeting, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go back over to Sharif and talk about Big Bear AI. We don't want this man to be here too long. Let's go back over there. Just a couple more minutes. BBI, Oklo, Tesla, and then we'll talk about some of the imbalances potentially tonight and things like that.
Absolutely, Sean. Big Bear AI, fantastic looking chart today. 7.5 off the high. Unusual options activity headline. If it will load over here, it won't load, so it's okay. The options alert January 16 calls, guys, at $7. Seems like there's unusual options.
It was a 4.5 million buy and balance early look. There it is. Now 2 points. So it just paired off a little bit, 2.6. But do you see all these like IonQs, 2.7 million? There's just a ton of these imbalances, and they're all huge. That's what happens on it's a triple witching and an index rebalancing and all that stuff. Here, let me start. Let's start from the higher time frame. Let's be real. It was about last week when we were talking about this bounce off the 200 period moving average and then the trend break, and so you get bullish once it was over 5. Really, you haven't had that bad of a time of it. There was really just a couple of days of consolidation off of the $5 level where it was having trouble running away. It was supporting 5, but it was trouble running away. And then it's just been a long, pretty much every single day.
Our stream is down. Something's wrong with the stream, I think.
Again?
People are saying they can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Is it just, can you guys
hear me?
People are
putting in, can you guys hear us or not?
Can you hear us?
Because we're now nervous. Trader TV's halted, apparently.
Yeah. Let us,
yeah,
in the chat,
mine's
can you
halted
hear?
too right now.
Yeah, I got the same.
All right. Where's Ram at?
I'm going to refresh and see if
Ram gone?
It's up. We can
we're
hear
good,
it.
We're
okay,
good.
All right, so we
there
should
it is. It just refreshed. All right.
Do the refresh.
Right.
I don't know how much you guys caught of that. If you here, look, it's a buy and balance of 2.6 million on BBAI. It's been upward trending on this daily chart. So it's been pretty good for the last couple of days, with the exception of, I think, yesterday, which was a little bit consolidative. It's just been trend up. So today was a breakout and hold of the prior high, although I am in a mean reversion trade. So when I took this mean reversion trade, I actually didn't see the early look imbalances. And then I got a look at it being a buy, and this is going to be, I want to cancel that offer. And we'll take one shot at a mean reversion. But if it's a couple million shares to the buy side already, there's no need fighting it. I want to be out of this before 3 o'clock. As far as I'm concerned, it gave you not only the move to the 50, it's now holding the 50 and making another leg up. And that leg up has room to 7 to 750, like in this range in here. So the continuation is good. Possible volatility here at the close for BBAI. Just because it's an early look imbalance doesn't mean it'll go ham, but it's exactly the kind of stock that if it has a buy imbalance on it late, you might want to have a quick look for that last half an hour, which could be quite volatile. 2.6 million is solid, but it's done 10 million shares in the day. If that starts growing larger, then we become really interested.
Look, I'm getting a lot of texts today about Big Bear AI. It's always nice when you recommend something and it actually works. So Big Bear AI continuously going higher here right now. Yeah, again, I like the stock. I got some out at 650. We talked about this trade before, 650, 750, 850. So let's see if we can rinse that one more time and then see if we can still hold on to about 30-40% of our position, so the runner will be real if it does happen there for Big Bear AI. I mean, Neil just went over some technical areas, obviously, so I'm just going to just remind everybody right here that if you're looking at Big Bear AI, you do want to make sure that you understand they're not making any money, right? So they don't even have a PE right now. They're a negative company. They don't make any money. Very similar to Palantir, didn't make money for a very long time, then did. Now it's ripping like crazy. So I just think that, you know, when you're looking at stocks like this, you got to take that into consideration. There is quite a large float, 340 million, so we're not going to worry about that. And the short float keeps on decreasing as people get blown out, I guess. So right now it's just 20%, something to look at there for Big Bear AI. We'll see what exactly this means moving forward, but I, again, like the stock up here. We've seen it before, and I just want to do a cautionary tale because last time when it was moving around like this, you could see that it had its opportunities to, you know, to moon, and it stopped at $10. Now I think $10 on this move is still almost, you know, 40% higher from where we are right now. So I don't know if we're gonna get into that area, but don't be surprised if on Monday we do get into the 750 area, and then I'm looking for more exhaustion as we look for the upside here on Big Bear AI to slow down just a little bit. Great move. We only got news a couple weeks ago about more airport and more stuff like that, programs there as far as security is concerned. So their big play are airport detection, you know, checking out IDs, checking security for airports. So Big Bear AI continues to make moves higher, and yeah, up another 8% on no news. So this is just something that has memory, and I think it goes back up, at least test this 740 area, and then hopefully we're able to do that and then run up to $8 one more time. So yeah, Big Bear AI. I mean, I don't think it's a crazy long-term hold, which is why I keep getting out. The minute they turn a profit, I'll put all this money that we've been making on this right back into it. But it has to turn profit first. So for now, we just keep scalping it out.
All right, guys, OKLO. I want to show you the daily chart here. Not typically what I show, but since the April lows from the tariff tantrum, we're up 628% on OKLO. If you look from September 5th onwards, we're up 96% on this headline over here, which is being participated with nuclear and uranium names trading higher as the sector recently surged ahead of a nuclear energy deal between the United States and the United Kingdom, and after news that the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission signed a refreshed memorandum of understanding with the U.K.'s Office for Nuclear Regulation. So nuclear and uranium names, all sorts of strong this week, boys.
Yeah, the nuclear play has been amazing. The only thing that I'm disappointed about is that, well, I mean, SMR is having a good day. It's just that it had been lagging so much, and now it's just playing a little bit of catch up. Up 21 points today. Admittedly, Oklo has been the one. Like, there's pretty much, like, there's no question about it. Like, it's just distinctly built different. They all have decent short floats. I mean, last I checked, I think they were all around the 22-ish%. So it's, you know, tit for tat. They're all about the same thing. But Oklo, 25 points today. This is a squeeze. When the headline came out about the government and the quantum, all you really did is added fuel to the fire. And there's something to be said. I know Shirley is dogged on these, but one thing he does mention is, hey, look, these guys they're not making money. It's all speculative at this point. Entirely true. This has turned into just a breakaway momentum squeeze play at this point. Like it's borderline absurd. That all said, it's happening. It's real. This is a no chance chase up here. If you weren't in on these earlier, some of these big consolidations, it's not just extended, like it's over the top extended. Like look, the daily chart on Oklo is nonsense, and today is like the parabolic crazy day into what has already been a little bit nuts. So this is one of those ones, I mean, ring the register for sure. And like, I'll tell you, like if SMR had actually had a chart like that, and I hadn't taken it out, then I 100% would be selling a chunk. here, but it just doesn't have as crazy of a chart. But if SMR was doing what Oklo did, I for sure would be hitting the sell on at least a quarter of it instantaneously if I had Oklo. But that's just me. It just, this last candle looks a little bit absurd. Just a bit of a squeeze play. I think you want to make sure you take advantage of them when you can.
Yeah, I want to basically say the same thing. I mean, this is not making any money there, so I was going to look at SMR up 20% today. Like, just a huge move right back into these areas where we've had so much topping tail candles. Like, thing is, at the bottom here, you don't get those candles as much, but you do at the top. So I think there's a lot of sell side action up here near $50 for a lot of these names. So as we continue to climb higher, I mean, it's hard to say here and say like we're predicting something to go, because it's almost impossible to do, you know, predict the exact percentage points that a stock moves up. But right now you want to play the momentum, and you know, you had some opportunities to buy and sell, and this is what I've been talking about when I talk to those people that are like, I can't get into anything. You just got to look for your prices when they come in. You got to stand there and take them, and sometimes they're not going to look great. Like, you know, when this move is coming back down in and coming into some support, it's not going to look good. Like, you're going to say, I'm buying this when it's down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days in a row. SMR goes down 11 days in a row, you know, and then now it does this kind of a move. So you got to believe in these names, and you just got to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing it on Alibaba. I'm doing it on Tencent. I'm waiting for some dip buy opportunities to buy all of these names. Now, thankfully, we're already in SMR in the teens, so that's fine, and we've been talking about that since those trades. But yeah, it's the only nuclear name that I'm in is SMR.
Oh, and before we
you're never in it for enough shares, but
like, the other thing about it too is it's not as if like the like GE Vernova, Vistra, Constellation Energy, like none of like the bigger names that actually make money and are generating real revenues, like none of those are doing much of anything today. Like GEV is up 1%, like it's kind of bouncing off the 50 period, like it's up. So this is parabolic in a lot of the growth for sure, and sometimes that's fine. Like, that's great. You got to be excited about it, but let's be real. Sometimes it gets a little bit frothy, and when you sell or take profit, you can regret it. I've been there before, but I think on the back end of it, when you look back, you're happy, because if it does unwind and you didn't take anything out, then it's all paper until you actually get some profits in there. Speaking of profits, Tesla has been giving them to you.
Yeah, and speaking of concussions, OGen is your place to go. Over 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S. every single year, and there's no FDA-approved treatment. OGen is trying to solve that with their first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to be more than $9 billion in 2027, Oragenics is positioned uniquely to lead the way. Learn more and schedule an appointment today to go find out what exactly they have to offer. We did get stopped out of our Apple. I just want to let everybody know that. We did talk about 245.50, so that's right where it is. It breaks, we get stopped out. You saw me put the order in. So that was a $6 or $5.50 winner there off that low. So boom, right there. Nice move there for Apple. Boom, boom, as it goes to the upside. All right. Yeah, Neil talked about it. It's Tesla. Let's go see what that move is all about.
Baird upgrading Tesla today with a healthy price target jump from 320, I believe, to 548 or something thereabouts. Based upon physical AI, they're saying Tesla is the one leading the physical AI space right now, with Robotaxi and Optimus expected in the not too distant future. They're looking past, guys, these 3 straight quarters of declines in electric vehicle deliveries. So Baird with an upgrade and Tesla above 2%.
Ooh, we like the upgrade. This is what you're supposed to do when you get an upgrade. We're looking at Micron. Still, don't even understand why that was selling off the way it was this morning, but that kind of is what it is. And at some point, we'll talk to you about the chip names as well. None of them made the list. No chips on the list, which I found a little bit surprising, but that's all right. Tesla has been in a consolidative phase. No questions asked. This is healthy. We've talked about the whole. The example I've been using about these consolidations is if it's consolidating on a long-term upward trend in either, I don't even care whether it's like this for Tesla or in the reverse of it in Palantir would have been upward trend, you get a bear market pullback and then it goes sideways, and that consolidation I think is the one that holds the 50 period is good, and then you get the continuation of the trade. So Tesla is in that consolidated phase. Now, I don't know how long it's going to be. if you look at it, the last time it did something like this, it didn't break out. Like in here, that was a bull consolidation. It tried to go and failed. But as long as it's inside the range, you better be range trading it. Now, ultimately, this morning, I think I said something along the lines of, hey, let's try to get some 410 to 412 to the long side. But I did miss the 430 reversion, which is fair. Something else was moving at the time. And pretty much everything that filled today was good. So you miss out on the top end of the range here on Tesla. Might have been a little bit more bullish and trying to catch longs, but it's neither here nor there. Until we actually close above 430, I think you got to play the inside range here for Tesla. And we're still waiting around for what the next big thing is going to be from them. And maybe we'll be calmed down until we get some kind of optimist update. But some of the projections, we were talking about this morning, like, some of the goals set out for, how many Optimus robots you could have in the US. I mean, if this thing is what Elon says, 1 million is not a lot. If it can get it to what I think everyone envisions, 1 million isn't crazy. It's not a crazy number.
No, I think that the Tesla has such a great opportunity to just expand margins and just give that new product cycle. Like, there's a lot of people that are like, I don't like Apple because they only have a couple of different products, and they just keep improving, like the headset, the new phone, and this and that, right? But Tesla's actually opening up brand new categories of business, right? They're opening up robo-taxi. I mean, I know Waymo's there and everything. There's lots happening, but this is like a brand new segment that we really don't know how high we could fly. On all of this kind of stuff, right? And it's just like, will the robots take off? Will they not? Will robotaxi go? Will they not? Like, what are the margins looking like on those things? Will they get, will they get clearance and all that to do this kind of stuff? And I think that Tesla and Elon Musk is basically just a shot that we should all take. And, any kind of a dip buy opportunity. You may not like the guy. I get it. There's some politics involved when we're talking about Musk and everything, and especially when you're talking about AI and data collection and everything. But this guy's building up XAI, and they just got another funding round approved there for XAI. I think it was over $100 billion valuation now for XAI. Remember, he bought Twitter at $54 billion. So it's just like, this is all changing very, very rapidly with Grok and all that going into the Tesla. Like, that's going to also help FSD probably and just give a much better experience for everybody. As competition ramps up, he's not an idiot. He's going to focus on other, like, if Chinese cars can land here in North America, that's a huge problem, for Tesla. And I feel like Elon and the team has realized that. Yep. And that's why they're just focusing on other things, right? The data side of it. Because the car business is one that may not be around for very long. As it's still there, but I mean, like, as a sole driver for Tesla, it's already not, right? I mean, we're all looking forward to the next thing. We're not looking forward to the new Model Y or, we're looking forward to the robo-taxi, which is a new model, but it's also a service business, right? So I like that. Apple has really reinvented themselves with the service business, and I think Tesla can do the same thing for sure. So I really like the stock. I'm not heavily long into it. I am long Tesla, but it's like a small position, but I like the stock, and I actually want to get longer the more I talk about it like this. So I think Tesla's worth a shot. Shout out to Chef Joe and everybody in the chat that has printed millions in this. And we have friends that have done some stuff similar. So I really like Tesla up here, and I think it continues. I think Tesla and Nvidia have printed the most millionaires in the history of the stock market. So I know. I'm not going to sit here and be like, there's a problem with this stock. I don't think there is at all. I mean, we can call up any kind of a monthly chart or whatever to prove that point.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to show something here, too. This is a new trade idea. Okay, so we are now done. Let's go. Let's start talking about some money-making opportunities right now. All right, so I think Faraday. All right, I know it's crazy to think about this, right? Because we always talk about Faraday futures and say, you know what? Again, it's called Faraday Future Intelligence. That's why I get the AI in there as well. Right here it is, right here, here. If you don't believe me, Faraday Future Intelligent Electric, right? So these guys, short float 17%. Float 140. All right, the stock is a disaster. There's no doubt about that if you're going to look at where the prices come from and where it's potentially going. But here's a daily chart of Faraday right now. So, darn it, I got to zoom in on this. But so we saw where it came from. It's not good back there, fine. But look what's happening right now. This is the 200 period moving average. We're bouncing off this pretty smoothly right here around 150. And, you know, it's already been up to 350 again. Can we get some noise happening on Faraday? Yes, we can. And when that does happen, what are the chances of it going back up? Not too bad. So, you know, this is always a risk because you could come in one day and it's been downgraded, and I don't know anything about the financials here at Faraday, so this is not something that I'm putting the kids, education funds in or anything like that. But they're just in TSX dividend stocks. Okay, but there it comes. Hopefully this will hold this level. I like Faraday right now. I'm going to have to find out how to use anchor VWAPs, because if we anchor it from this top, I believe it's something close to where we are right now anyways. So I like Faraday futures down here in and around $1.50. I think there's a great opportunity for this thing to climb up. So, you know, don't at me now, at me when this thing's at 250. But I like Faraday. We can see where it goes. That's like another trade. That's a possibility. Lucid, again, another name that's really had a rough go. Obviously, we had that reverse split as well. But there's more upside in this.
It's doing the thing that we actually kind of like. Oh, you know what? I have to use right, we can't use our charts for Lucid.
No, because it had the reverse.
Yeah, because of the reverse split. So you want to be split adjusted for Lucid. But when you look at it, and this is now weekly. The weekly is too far out for Lucid. But it was $2 at the time of the reverse split, right? So that was the monster support level. And usually when stocks reverse split, you know what happens. You go down. Well, in this particular case, it has recovered and gotten back above that support level. So the 50 period sits, I mean, the 50 and 200 are kind of condensed on the stock, but it's sitting at like 22, 23, like right in this range. This is actually a potential, and again, these are always like shot type of plays, right? And at the end of the day, if it was at $2, you'd be buying it like $2.25 with like a 2 stop. In this case, it gets over the 50, you'd want to buy it and then give it a $20 stop. Something along those lines makes some sense to me. And it's just about when you've seen stocks that reverse split and then regain that post-split price, sometimes you can see an explosive move, because that's an obvious level for shorts to get in. And you can, I mean, it's actually easier to see when I show you like a non-split adjusted chart like this, right? Like this is where you can sort of look at it from a non-adjusted chart. Like from the day that you get the reverse split, like usually you'll trend down, and then you can get a breakout above that price, and which is exactly what's happening now. Sometimes it goes a little parabolic when new shorts start to get squoze, and then eventually this ends up working out the same way, which, you know, they head to the downside. But it has made the breakout of that post-split high. So Rigetti is the latest stock to just start going ham here. Start going ham. It's up 17%.
I know.
Can't start going ham, but to break out a fresh high is what I should be saying. Break out a fresh high, and there could be some continuation here. Rigetti was the only reason Rigetti was liked yesterday over the other ones was because it was freshly breaking out the 52-week high. And the continuation has been spectacular. This morning, I was like, the way that it ended, I wasn't really feeling it. It was a good long yesterday, but the way that it finished and we were gapping underneath, did not really see this for a continuation play. Doesn't matter, it's still getting squoze. They'll pull back into the prior high this afternoon is about 28.60. Gives you a little bit of time to catch a bit of a dip here. So if it does a dip, consolidate, let's just take the stairs to the upside on this bad boy. Decent chance, at least with the quantum names, there probably wouldn't be any index action on, but because the Russell is rebalancing, some of the smaller float names that can be in one of the Russell indexes, you do have to watch out for on this imbalance locator, which I'll keep looking for, because BBAI, you know what? I can actually get out right now. BBAI is now 6. I have a bunch of them up here, so I'm just going to show you the one I have in front of me. Now 6 million to buy. Remember what it was before? 2.5, I think I showed you guys, or 2.9 million to the buy side. It's now 6.3 million to the buy side.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I just got out at 80, and I had 79 short. I just got out at 80. There is no need getting into 3 o'clock that if I see a buy imbalance, you know, taking a technical trade into the imbalances, when the balances will say, who cares about your technicals? Like it's just a trend break trade down. Well, it's not going to matter if this thing comes out with the 6 million turns into 10 million to buy or 20 million to buy, some nonsense. Who cares that it broke the trend? It's just going to do whatever it's going to do going into power hour. So we'll keep our eyes on all of these big imbalances. We'll give you updates on them. I think out of the names that we tend to care about, that's like I don't know, like maybe people do. I don't even know CDE or HL, Kenview, whatever. That's an old deal. Yeah, Archer Aviation has a 4.5 million buy. Like I'll just throw out the names that I know people tend to be interested in, and people tend to trade, and a lot of our viewers tend to care about. But yeah, BBAI big buy imbalance, and I checked the notes. It's not actually supposed to have a gigantic weight change for Big Bear. It just happens to have this showing up. Okay, here we go. Screen cap right now. Push pause. Watch out for this. You have this right now. This is, can't even believe I'm giving this to you. Here it is right here. So this is the contribution to trade here tonight. We're going to wait to see what winds up happening. Don't even worry about any of these things. You just have to worry about this category right here on the right. These are additions, increations. That's right. Float increases, additions. Increase. Share decrease. It sounds dirty, but it's not. Oh, man, it's definitely not a word. But here we go. So there's Robinhood. We already know that's an addition. We already know AppLovin's an addition. So what's coming down, right? We got Apple is a decrease right there. So we could see a sell-off there in Apple near the end of the day. Could, right? This is all going to take effect on the close at 3:50 when all of this information becomes public. It could be completely the other way around, but generally speaking, this is what's going to wind up happening. There's my boy right there. What up, Alex and Palantir right there? You guys know that we love some Palantir. That is also a float increase. Decreasing is Tesla. Increasing is Amazon, right? A buy there in MCore, migration buy. So from one to another, right? There you go. Q2 Holdings is being added as well to the S&P right here. There it goes, addition. This is S&P 1500 ranked by contribution. So there's different things happening in different markets, right? Not just all this S&P 500. There's Oracle. That's a float increase as well. We could take a look at that. I don't know what funding means for Microsoft. Not sure. Meta, share decrease. So there are different names. These are all the big names here. Now there's many other things happening, but these are the bigger names that I was able to find that we're looking at here into the closing prints today. So we'll have a double check on that. And Neil just did all the work for me by explaining basically what's going on with this imbalance locator. These are all New York names. So, you know, anything on here that is New York based, we can double check. Oracle is New York, right? I mean, it's not on here yet. And if it is, it's the problem is all these small caps are so big early. Yeah, so right now, there's going to be nothing posted on here. I mean, I heard Neil talk about them all, so I'm not going to go through it all. But that's basically what we're doing. I'm going to keep this up. I'll show this again, and we'll look for some more information. But that, generally speaking, is what we're talking about. Now, could that have contributed to Palantir's move up earlier? Yes. I mean, you know, if being a share increase, who knows when that's actually getting done, but there's the bump up there for Palantir, like kind of out of nowhere off the open. We see that there was an Apple decrease as well, and then Apple kind of went oppo of what I thought it would be today. It actually did make a move down before finally taking off. So we're going to have just to wait to see, and I'm just going to show you an example in Toronto. Now, we don't have the same information about this in Toronto or anything like that, but just look what happened this morning. Like TD Bank printed some traders up here 110, 111, and then floated right back down to 108. So there was some kind of a buy imbalance over there. Look at Shopify here in Toronto today as well. Some kind of action up here at 217, 218, then floated back down into 209. So, you know, there's lots of action that's been happening with big, huge volume prints, obviously, as these days open up. And it happens on these witching days. It's Friday, and there's a big move for Tesla, obviously, this morning as well. So, you know, there's going to be action at the close, and we just want to have everybody, you know, watching it with us and, you know, asking questions. And Neil and I will call up the level twos. Yeah. You know, we'll see the action. And if you see some trades flash in for us, then you know that we're doing something. So that's what we're looking at right here. Nvidia looking like it wants to go down. I'm still trying to buy on the dip of Nvidia. I put a bid in my own account here around 175. So if we can get that low, then we'll be longer in Nvidia again today. I'm averaging up into my Nvidia long-term 401k RRSP. I'm averaging up into Nvidia. I want more Nvidia in the long-term account, Neil. That's what you got to do. And I saw you talking about Toronto. So for all of you Canadian traders out there, the call is out because Beta Pro by Globex is bringing back its annual biggest winner simulated ETF trading competition. Now with over $40,000 in cash prizes, including a 20 grand prize, all risk-free. It's free to enter and open to all Canadians. You trade with $100,000 in fantasy cash on the Webull platform. Whether you're an experienced trader or just getting started, it's a chance to test strategies, build skills, and climb the leaderboard. So if you think you got what it takes to be the next biggest winner, then sign up today. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. And shout out to Webull. Webull had a good day today.
Yeah, people were mentioning that earlier. Was that anything or just technical, I think?
No story. I checked this morning. I didn't see anything, and it maybe technical because like everything was rallying today. So if you weren't catching a bid today, then you got problems. I truly believe in that. When you see these types of rallies where the entire space will go, or growth names are all going at once, if you have one and it isn't going, maybe that's telling you a little bit of something. So I would have been concerned if Webull didn't move upward today, but it has been a bit of a dog, at least recently. Like, just pull up a chart of Robinhood, pull up a chart of SoFi, pull up a chart of Coinbase today, or it just hasn't been doing that much since it lost the 50 period. So yeah, it's made a temporary higher low. I said this morning that I'm not completely convinced it isn't a reload yet at the that $10, $11 range. It hasn't proven to me that it's worth buying at a higher low. The trend down has not been broken on this stock. So there's just going from the high, like this is the trend bottom. If anything, that kind of sucks. It made its high of the day pretty much around the trend. I didn't draw it perfectly, but you want to connect as many times as you can to observe the trend. Went right to the trend high and pulled back here on Webull. But if this breaks out next week, let's just say, that could be a nice little add into Webull or buy back in of the shares that were sold earlier, because I think you always got to ring the register when you get these. It gave you that 10 to 11 for a long time before breaking out, but that was a very clean double top in front of 19. So to me, like if I'm ever long in here and I see it get to a level like that, you're always trimming some. And then if it breaks back out, you put those shares back in, and then it gets back to 17, 18, you trim it again and hold on for the dream. And then hopefully that dream turns into SoFi. And it can do what SoFi has done at some point. Another all-time high for SoFi today. Oh, stock is it's only 4% today, but when you're making all-time highs on no news, it's a good sign. I'm just noticing it back at VWAP, but Palantir at VWAP might be more interesting, actually.
Yeah, all right. So we got out of Apple at that level, and I'm debating right now. This is not new lows for Intel, but it's a good level for me. I initially had a bid at 50 and pulled it, so that would have filled, and I was just thinking maybe we do get a float back into the afternoon here. It's only 2:51. There's so much more of this day to still go, guys. But yeah, there's a downside play there. I'm going to put a stop right now, and if we break out of this, we break out of it, and we're still looking for more trades, so it's not like I'm done here. 29.61. So put that stop in there. So it's in. If it breaks back above, and this is what I was talking about yesterday. If you were joining us last night on this show, basically in the PM show, I was talking about how a lot of traders can't seem to make money day trading. It wasn't to discourage everybody from doing it. This is why we create the show, and we talked about this on the first show as well. It's like you got to put in your stop orders to protect some of the profit, and I'm going to show another example right here. And I just think that that's part of what Neil and I are doing is risk management and showing you guys every day that we got stops in where we think stops are due, and we have stops, at many different areas. But if you don't stop out, then you suffer account closures, basically, risk of that happening. And I hate to talk like that, but that's why people get blown out of accounts. Everybody knows that. We all have great ideas, and sometimes it's about execution, right? Wrong day, wrong stock. There's lots of that. And fine taking L's, right? We were red yesterday and green today, but it's like right there. This is the only time I lost today on Intel, and it was going short. Then we averaged back into it at the 200 period. I gave it 5 or 6 cents. It broke, and then went up 2 or 3 more cents, and then I re-engaged that same short. We lost 5 cents there, and now we're in the money 71 cents, and was able to grab that all the way back, all the way to the downside again. So by me putting the stop out right there, it's the same thing that happened in Apple today as well. So I don't want to talk negatively about it. I just want to say that's the problem with a lot of traders. They make the mistakes of potentially getting out too early, which happens to all of us, but often when you get out too early, it's because you're making profit, so it's okay.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it's like right into here. Apple could go to 250 today, I don't know, but it broke the level right here that I've been looking at. And when that happens, I get out. And, you know, we'll sit here and we'll be like, oh, face palm and this and that. What have I done? What have I done? That's just all just having fun with the show. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you have to be responsible with your trading. And if you don't, then you will suffer like the other 95%. And that's part of the beauty of the show, is doing stuff like this.
Speaking of,
you know, yeah.
Mike the Writer just made a good point here. He said,
what's up?
2 steps forward, 1 step back for me yesterday. And that's
Mike the Writer wrote something in the chat. That's a surprise.
That's looking for it. Mike P. the Writer is all over the chat, and we appreciate all of our viewers. So shout out. And we just got a super chat as well. But I just think that's perfect. Like if that's what you're doing, where like a bad day is 1 step back and a good day is 2 steps forward, that's what matters, right? Like if you have a good day today, today's been a good day. It was good more than it was yesterday was bad. And that's how you stay consistently positive, for sure, Mike Peter Wright. I'll let you get the super chat because I had this up and I wanted to make sure I could get to this quickly because I've seen a bunch of people put symbols in, and not everybody's doing the old dollar sign. So just want to remind people, if you want to, I mean, it gets our attention, and both of us are going to have this up. Everyone on the show has this up, and then we just go $sign and then the ticker whenever you put it in the chat. And I'm just going to restart this so we can get a fresh look for the afternoon as to what the most talked about and intriguing symbols are to our viewers, and then we'll make sure we're trying to do our best to cover all of them. Before we get to Super Chat, apparently we're going to Adara first.
So I'll let you guys know here, mRNA and some of these other vaccine names on watch. Not moving too much, though. mRNA, as you can see, did get a little bit of a wick here and a spike in volume. A CDC panel is voting here to end universal recommendations for COVID shots. So, of course, some of these vaccine names are going to be on watch with that catalyst again. mRNA did move a little bit on this news. Back to you.
Look, this is my guy right here, Pathik. I mean, I always see you putting nice comments in the chat, and I really, really appreciate it. And I just think I got to shout out to Dara. She's the one that came up with this confidence right there. But look, this is what I was saying. Honestly, I ran into some guys, ran into Neil Sharif and some guys in the back, and it's been a hell of an amazing week. So, I mean, first of all, awesome. And here, this is normally for Ozam, it's for you today, Pathik. Probably the best week you've ever had since you started trading. I mean, this is what we're talking about, man. I mean, I'm actually, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm getting goosebumps because this makes me the most happy is when there's people in our chat that I know have supported us for a very, very long time. And it's great to see that's what's going on. So thank you all. So all of us, right? And then Sean for giving me the Seanfidence. You're welcome, man. I mean, I talked about this Apple trade. I talked about Apple on Fed Day. I talked about it today. It's right here. It's right on the sticky note right there. If your ideas line up with mine, that's great, Patrick, and I'm glad that it happened. I mean, Intel was also a monster. I only have those 2 trades today, but like that's what we're talking about. Oh, and I sent you my move on X, okay? I'll definitely have a look at that. Sometimes throughout the day, I don't get a chance to do all this stuff. And Joseph, so thank you to Joseph as well for all of that. So we do want to say a big thank you to that. And then I just heard that there was another fan funding. Oh, what's up right here? Is this what it was, Andre? Okay, so happy birthday. Thank you so much. Oh my God. I hope you enjoyed that burger. Yeah, I did. The burger place we went to was actually getting renovated, Burger's Priest. Yeah. But I went to a new place called Rudy on Queensway. It was fantastic. Hope you enjoyed the burger. Is SoFi the next Palantir? Well, my guy Money Mitch says yes. I'm going to say no. But the reason why I like Palantir more than SoFi, even at these levels, is just I think Palantir just has just that whole talk of obviously. And I don't want to, the world is a funny place, right? And we all know that. It's just like, the more uncertainty that there tends to be, I think Palantir can benefit from that. I'm not trying to be like warmongering or anything like that, but with AI still being all talked about, people saying it's relatively early innings for AI, I really do like Palantir at these levels. But if SoFi is going to be the next Palantir, Palantir came out at $11 and is now at $180 or whatever it's at. And SoFi has a little bit of ways to go before we get into any kind of levels like that. But I still really do like SoFi. The problem is the space again, and it's not a problem. It's just you've had a huge move here for a financial. And I do think, I mean, the reason why I bought Oscar as well is because they're changing the game, and so is SoFi, and so is Robinhood, and they've got a lot of millennial action in there as well. So I think SoFi can continue to work, but do I think it goes from Palantir levels down here of $7 to $180? Would love for that to happen. I'm not going to sit here and call something like that, but I think that SoFi, as long as you're long the name, I think you'll enjoy it. And then again, look at this 50-period moving average. If you're going to do anything, just get out when it breaks that. And then regroup, right? I mean, if you got in like around here when it looked like it was supporting it, then you would have rode this all the way from $6 or $7 all the way to 17 or 18. It breaks there at 14, you can get out. And then look, good thing you got out because it does make the move all the way back in. And then there's maybe your next chance to get back in. So
I think
go ahead. Yeah, stocks, I'm just going to say stocks have a funny way of doing things.
Well, it's a weird comparison. I think the comparison should be to like Robinhood, maybe. And there's a reason why. Look, I own SoFi, and SoFi has been absolutely fantastic. I should never be complaining about it. That being said, SoFi went from that 7 level to what? The 30 that 30-ish that we're at right now.
I like SoFi.
Robinhood went from a consolidation at $10 to $120. So you could think there's always something better, and the grass is always greener. That being said, what I think is happening in SoFi right now, Robinhood made we're going to go back to the all-time high. We're going to consolidate above and break out. That secondary move was effectively 90 to 120. Right? Like after you've already had the big U-shape, that's another 25%. So when I look at SoFi personally and see the same thing happening on SoFi, and granted, yeah, it's been pretty good. If you got the absolute bottom, I think the easier entry was in around $7. Like that's when it was pretty clear it was looking good. It was higher lows and all that stuff. If you got it from the absolute bottom, you've gotten 7x, which is almost as good as the 12 times that you've gotten on Robinhood, but clearly not as good. If we're consolidating and breaking out that high, I think seeing a Robinhood-like move in the next couple of months, like you saw on that chart, that takes you really only to about 36 to 40, at the best case, maybe like a 40 or something like that. So if you're comparing like it to something a little bit more akin with the same setup, I don't see how it gets you anywhere near a Palantir type move, at least in the next couple of months. The next couple of months, I think a hold this month above the all-time high monthly close, and you do a Robinhood-like move for another 25%. I think there's going to be some talk about them going into the index. Hopefully by next year, maybe there's an outside chance. There's a lot of deals that are closing, so you're going to see a lot of turnover in the indices. So there's a chance that you could see something in the next little bit for them. Certainly over the next year, they're going to be a talked about name. But in the last round, and we see Robinhood going in, when I looked at the betting list on Kalshi, it wasn't even there. I just realized I actually did not. I closed that. I always had it up there. Like, let me just double check. I want to see who's at the top of this list. We'll do it for you guys live. So I don't know who's going to be on here. I'm pretty sure. Last time I checked, the MSTR was on this list. Do not fail me, Kalshi. And who else was on it? It was Carvana. There you go, Carvana. So just one note about this list at Kalshi in the betting markets is who will be added to the S&P 500 this year. So it still has some of the stuff that's already happened, like Robinhood. Why is that at 96% when it's already happened? But Carvana, 39% chance that could be next. Ares Management, Cheniere, that was another one. MicroStrategy, 17%. I mean, obviously, AppLovin's already happened. That's another one going in there, effective tonight. And at the close, Flutter, 17%. So SoFi, you don't even see it on that list. I think at some point, maybe when a few of these jump in, and this has been pretty accurate, just so you know, like I'm only showing Kalshi because they've been, the betting markets tend not to get these things wrong, but there's no overwhelming favorite. I'd say Carvana's a loose favorite. Last time, Cheniere, I think Cheniere was number 2 the last time we had looked, and MicroStrategy seems to be hanging around there. That I don't get. MicroStrategy for the S&P 500. Look, if it happens, it happens, but
I'm fine with it.
No, I'm fine with it. It's just like the why.
Well, I mean, I feel like MicroStrategy is a company that they've been completely honest with what they're doing, where their holdings are. Yeah. They file on time. I don't know. I mean, they have like a very obviously confident leader as well. Yeah. So I like that right here. But you know what's going flushing down? And yeah, it's not the account. It is Intel right now that continues to move lower. So right here, there goes Intel. We say see you later to that one. We're still short on it, and it's still going lower. So I'm going to switch now. I put my stop at 61. Well, we'll just keep it there. It's not like it's moving that dramatically, but debating just stopping out, putting a bid down here, getting run over, take the fill, and then see. But right here, I'm trying to like psychologically tell myself that I should be trying to hold these things for longer. Like I don't have to close the position so fast every day and be able to hold these type of things. So that's something that I'm trying to get better at right now, and I'm just watching to see what Intel exactly winds up doing. So I'm looking for different things here. I mean, I do have a scanner right here, Nvidia, Netflix, Nvidia. The reason why Nvidia is popping right now on the scanner is it is hitting some levels right here. This 176, it's basically just hitting the 50 period, hitting the 200 period, trying to think about what it wants to do. For me, this is lining up for a short. I mean, if you are looking for Nvidia, I would go short against VWAP, which isn't that far away. It's a 30-cent trade. But again, if we go back over, did that thing that I looked at, oh no, I closed it. I'll have to get it back.
Nvidia, I've had it up all.
Yeah, I think Nvidia was a buy, right?
No, Nvidia wasn't on that list.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay, no. So I was just, that would be the only thing that's worrying me right now about any kind of thing there for Nvidia. Otherwise, I do think this is a short. I mean, we just had a nice run from the bottom all the way back up into this level of 176.25. Looking to me like a short right now on NVDA. Those of you that have asked us a couple times about Open Door, thank you so much for doing that. Do I think this is a good spot for long term? I mean, I don't think any of these meme stocks are good long-term buys. I don't. And I mean, Carvana has bucked that trend that started a meme stock and then just started to get going as well. I would just like to see Open Door. And I think if you do think it's a long-term stock and you're looking to buy a position, buy some now. Like, again, buy 20% now. If it goes down by another 20%, like, you have to believe in names. And this is not a Seanfidence thing. Thanks, Adara, for that. It's just, if you like a stock, you don't go all in at once, especially a meme stock like Open Door, where we know we can move 20, 30% in a day, if not more than that. They got a new CEO. This thing went up 70% or whatever it was that day. So you got to be very, very careful. Like, it went from 580 that day up to $11. So it goes, 70 or 80% straight to the upside on new CEO. You know, so it could easily go down if something bad goes down. But if you think it's a long-term play, you're not going to look back in 5 years and wonder, was 960 the right play, or should have I waited for 9? I mean, hopefully a couple of pennies here and there is not going to matter. So for me on Open Door, I would say, if you like it, buy some right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it comes down to 9, don't buy more. Buy more down here. Buy more at this gap fill between 7 and 750. You know, then get some more down at the 50-period moving average, $4 or $5, because it has memory. It will go back up if it wants to work. So that's something for me right there to look at as well. We had Google, I think, today make all-time highs again. I mean, that break yesterday was a fail for me right there. And we took 253.50. That was the big L for me yesterday. And big, it was big, but, you know, we had more trades. It wound up being fine. But there's the move today. Look at that, right off the open again. Fake break. Fake broke all-time highs right at the open. Made the move down, then strong stocks. What happens to strong stocks? They go higher. At Google today, making that move higher again. Looking to take out, again, new all-time highs for Google, 255 and change. I think that's a decent break right there. Why not? It can hold this level. Let's go long Google if it breaks. That's I think this is a good trade here for a unit, whatever, we'll see. That's 254.85. We can risk 15 cents. All right, let's go. If Google breaks this top, let's take it. So I'm gonna try it. 255 break on Google. It's already broken it today. Let's see if it has juice to break it one more time. I'm gonna go long Google on 255 break. So that's gonna be a new trade alert for me, and we'll give it 20 or 30 cents. Back into the 21. I mean, look, it's watched this 21 up about $1. I think we can do that. And if you're a little more like, that's too early of a stop, then use the 50 period right here. Might not get back up there, but if it does, we'll try it. 254.60. All right, I'm going to put it in. I'm taking that long on a break of 255 and change. So that's something that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I know you were looking at that Nvidia I have Nvidia in the spreadsheet as a small buy.
Okay.
Actually smaller than I would have anticipated. Like less, like 250,000 shares to buy, which on Nvidia is infinitesimally small. So I think like it goes either way, and I won't care. But if it was like 2.5 million to buy, or just something like more shares, then we would care. I'm a little surprised that Nvidia is that small. I had to do a double take on them. Like, am I looking at the right spreadsheet? It didn't make any sense to me. But Palantir. As you'd mentioned, Palantir is expected. How much? I'll have to double.
Maybe Palantir's a long.
The percentage, well, it just broke trend. I'm going to go long Palantir, 182.5 if I can get it. This actually just broke the downtrend, bouncing off VWAP, and we are expecting a buy on it. It's a NASDAQ. Remember, if it's a NASDAQ stock, you're not going to see an early look imbalances, so we won't know until 350 what's going to happen in any of these. Like Robinhood could come out. I mean, heck, Robinhood could come out a huge sell, even though it's going in the index. Same thing with AAPL. You're not going to know until 350, but Palantir is expected to be a float increase. It's already in the index, so it's not gigantic, but I'm going to favor it to that side. What if I have to step up? I might take this consolidation into this prior high if we're not going to be able to get the 182.50 level. I might try to take it at 183. And give it back into this prior high. We had some support there before, 182.75. I'm going to try and slip in there, give it the prior bar out. The high of the day is up at 84, so I think you have a lot of room to get there. And I'd rather play long in something that's supposed to be a buy. And if I can find a short, I want it to be in something that I'm expecting to be a sell. But I haven't found too many down weights anywhere on the list. Let's go to Adara.
Just be aware here, Biogen and Pfizer are on watch. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we did have this CDC vaccine panel commenting here with regards to COVID vaccines, saying they're going to be ending the universal recommendation for COVID shots. This is Biogen, but keep an eye on BioNTech and Pfizer here. Both of these saying that they're committed to making safe and effective vaccines. So again, vaccine names remain on watch after the CDC did announce that I guess the CDC panel ruled that they're not going to be giving these universal vaccine recommendations specifically for COVID vaccines. Back to you.
Some of those charts are so bad for those vaccine names.
I know. Well, they're talking about that, like stocks that are never going to get back to their COVID highs. I mean, Peloton, Moderna. There's a lot of stocks like that.
Yeah, like Moderna is on a different.
Is FFAI going?
Maybe Peloton is on the same level as Moderna. It's just in my head, and Moderna is just like the.
Oh, no, it's not doing anything. Okay.
Like when they do case studies of the COVID highs, like at some point, like MBA programs and all these programs at university, there's going to be case studies, and I feel like this will be a stock that ends up on that list. And I'm not even doing it. Heck, a daily chart doesn't even do it justice there. I'd have to use a weekly for mRNA.
It could be a short.
Like when you go all the way back, oh my goodness.
OPAD?
It's not even necessarily far enough. You got to go to a monthly chart, and it's still bad. Oh, wow, Moderna. Yikes. There we go. Now you get a better idea. To me, this is a poster child. It's $25, and the high was $5. And it's not like this was a company, and I remember, and I think we all remember when it did the dip. Well, at least I do, and it was over 100 again, and it started going. There were plenty of people talking about the technology, this and that, and this was a good buy the dip down at like $125, and this is gonna be a nice play. And that was I mean, granted, if you got long 120 and got out of 200, you weren't I'm sure you're perfectly happy. But if you held on thinking it was gonna get back to those highs, it was just like this sucker's rally that you needed to scalp. And maybe it catches a bottom. I don't know. Like it's exactly the kind of stock that now it's just so cheap. It's so cheap relatively that it's probably worth it the next time it takes a 50-period moving average, because that'll be like 28 or 29 bucks, and the low will be like 23 or 22. You might actually get a chance to risk 20 or 30% on a stock that has a lot of upside, and that's if they can do something again with the technology that isn't about COVID. Like it's just COVID's done.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I mean,
thankfully.
No, fortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately for them is what I meant. Obviously, fortunately for all of us.
All right, just a quick, we talked about discipline here, so I'm going to do it again. Right now, I'm going to put a stop in right here at the 50-period moving average, which is now 55. So we'll give this another move higher at 56. Well, I always go a penny higher. I don't know why. But there it is. So we'll see right now what has to happen here. I don't know what has to happen, but we're going to wait to find out right now with Intel as Hopefully it doesn't retrace back up, but if it continues to go down, we'll do that. Maybe we'll put a bid right here at 31s. Let's just do that right now. Let's put a bid at 33s, okay? See if we can get that near the low of the day. It's now 3:15. We're still waiting for Google to try to break, and Google's right here right now. So we are about to get into a position. If it does take out that high, 251.01, I'm going long, so we're moments away from that. And then I'll just tell you guys about it. We're taking about half a unit. And, you know, that's really close now. I'm not going to stop out for 10 cents on this trade, so I'm going to bring it down into here, 254.70 or so. So I'm already thinking, and this is what I'm trying to get you, everybody to do, right, is just think about it from a risk perspective. If you do get into this trade, where's your out? So I already have it, so I'm comfortable understanding what my loss would look like if that were to happen. So that's a trade there for me on Google if it does break out. I do want to buy some Palantir, but I mean, Google and Palantir, it looks like Google right now is going to break it earlier, so we'll do that. AMD, if you're looking for a short, this would be the one that I would be shorting right now. Again, underneath the 50-period moving average. I am not, I mean, mark my words. I mean, you know, at me if I break this. I'm not going long until we break above 165 on AMD, period.
I thought that level was 60. I like 64.
Yeah, I don't know, Neil. I didn't.
I think when you put the 15-minute chart, it's like very distinct.
Is it?
On a 15-minute, it's really distinct at 64 in particular.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so either way, yeah, that wick is 64.60, but I don't want to, like, it's all consolidation there, rip, right? We crushed Tesla going long one way since that's been happening, since it broke its levels, and so I'm going to do that, and we'll wait to see. And just like when Nvidia takes out the highs, man, you're going to see something. I'm going to be going hopefully pretty hard on that one when and if it finally goes. But there it is, man, it's a new position. I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but it's a position I'm in right now. So let's just wait and see where it goes from here. But now Google trying to go back upside. So let's put our stop in together. Why don't we? Well, let's hold hands. All right, 254.69. So that's it. 254. Oops. See, this is how you make errors. $2,544. No. 254. I mean, eventually Google will get there. Give it 5 years. 254.69er right there. We'll push offer, enter, and then I'm just going to look and I'm going to try to go. I go like 0.5-to-1 ratio, basically to get it at 10%. So if we're going to risk right now 30 cents, if this goes to like 255.15, let's just put an offer there, and we'll get out of 10% or so, and that will just help us. If it does go back down in, we'll put a little bit of money in our pocket if that does happen. And then we have the other runner to go if and when it busts, right? But remember, it's a Friday. Traders are light, man. It's obviously heading into a weekend. If I said it's Friday, that should be obvious. But, you know, other than waiting around for the imbalance, it may be a relatively light trade. So that's why we're not using that many shares. I like it as an opportunity. Let's see. I'm not going to average into it. Really comfortable if that turns out to be an L. We are also right now looking at this. Look, you guys know where my stop is. It's never going to be right at the 50-period moving average, so it just goes back up there into 53s. My stop is 56. We talked about that live. If that breaks, that breaks. But you know what? I just realized something. Look, this has stopped giving me signals. So when I was like looking at Nvidia there, that's a signal from 11:57. So I'm going to have to reset. That's why I'm not getting any alerts. So I'm going to have to reset that rate.
That'll do it.
Too much. I feel good today, but now my throat is starting to act up a little bit here
it's because like the second phase
of too much talking there. So that's good for everybody else. All right, nice downside play there for Intel. Let's see what happens with Google. And we're resetting my whole signal right now.
I just, Merkes, I haven't seen this for open.
How did I get filled at 02? Hold on a second. I'll just.
02?
No, I just want to say John Ma. No, because I'm long at 02. I don't really understand that question, but if you can explain it, I'll answer it. So I just want to go, shout out to Neil. Just go over whatever you were doing. I just don't understand that question.
No, it was just, I haven't seen this open rumors of partnership with something called Lennar. we know Lennar.
Yeah, Lennar, yeah. Computers.
Yeah, Open Door. I mean, okay.
Lennar. Oh, Lennar.
Lennar, yeah, housing.
Oh, I thought it was Lenovo.
No, I haven't seen Lenovo. No, I don't.
They make good laptops, I heard. I think they're business machines, right? Maybe they're not around anymore.
No, they are. Yeah, they still are. I don't know that I've ever.
IBM, right? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used them, but I have not seen that headline.
They still make
for Open Door. I'm just double checking.
Lenovo?
No, not really seeing anything crazy. Oh my goodness. This is, I just saw the headline for today.
There's Google, by the way.
One open door army dreams of Super Bowl ads while stock takes a timeout. That's absolutely hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Super Bowl ads, they're going to go for a Super Bowl ad? Hey, why not?
Who is? Open door?
I think the open door army, meaning online people are interested in the chance that they could do a Super Bowl ad. So Palantir's trying to go. I keep double checking.
I didn't break 255.50. I'm talking with this JMod out loud here. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Palantir just double tapped the 183 area, but it just went to $0.50 and hasn't really gone any further than that. So I'm going to scalp some out here in front of the $0.50 and see if it continues to go. Palantir is supposed to be. Yeah, it is
There's
supposed
Google
to be
again.
a buy. It is supposed to be a buy imbalance, but of course we're not going to know until 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 3:30, I should say. Sorry, 3:50. Early looks on New York you'll be able to see, but these NASDAQ names, of which, I liked it when Palantir was on the New York, because that we would have the opportunity out there to be able to look at the early look. So we'll take the quick first scalp at like 30 pennies or so, which it's already done once, and then we'll see if we can hold it. Ideally, if it just keeps on going up, want to be long into 350, and then if it comes out of sell, dump it. If it comes out of buy, hold it. That's simple.
Yeah, did you say 30 pennies? Well, that's exactly what just happened right here as well on Google. So good trade over there on Palantir. And there it is, man. Again, we took it with half a unit, so happy with that trade. There's the first out at 15. Here's more outs at 30 right now as we speak. And John Mott there. Yeah, okay, there it is. So I was going to say, all right, my bad, you're in Google. Yeah, no, I was looking at, I'm in Google. Oh, so a little bit more volume there. So yeah. I don't apologize because I didn't understand your question, but now I do. So thanks for that. Yeah, no, they trade the same. I just look at, see the volume here. So we talk about like why I trade the TQs and why I trade some of these same names. I'm just very, very familiar with the levels and the way it trades. Oh, wow, that's just a nice move down. But here's Goog. So Google was 26 million shares. This is 15 million shares. So just a little bit different, but yeah, thank you for that. They should move pretty much. Hold on a second. Google's up 1.23. Google. Goog 1.33. All right, well, slightly different there, I guess, depending on when you're checking it out. But there it goes. So right now, I'm out of 40% of that trade because this is now adjusted, actually. We got to change this. Now this is 254.80. There it goes. Go! Let me get out of another bit, okay? There, now we're out of a third now. Now we're out of a third of that trade. Officially, we just got 33s on the upside. So now I'm going to adjust my script order and put it for right there. I'm always following the 50 period. That's all that I'm doing. So that's 254. This time I'm going to go to 79 because by the time it gets down there, it's not going to be at 79 anymore. So there's a little dip down opportunity right there. Let's see what winds up happening on Google. But again, another good play there for the upside. I'm going to put an offer at 50s. And see if we get that, and then we'll just go from there. So yeah, then we'll be out of half, and we'll see what happens into the close for Google. That was a call to Adara. Then let's go.
Keep an eye here on RENT. It's worth noting not a ton of volume in this, around 300,000 shares traded on the day, but they did get a bit of a spike here because The Information posted this headline saying that the company previously explored strategic options, including a sale. Now, I've said this before about The Information. A lot of their headlines are reflecting on things that have already happened or have known to have happened, but either way, RENT reacting to this report of a previous sale exploration here by the company. Back to you, Rent the Runway.
What was it?
I don't know.
I just got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I missed what you said. Also, sometimes it's like, sometimes I can hear things in my ear and sometimes I can't. What symbol is that, Adara?
Rent.
Rent. Okay, let's have a quick look over there at Rent the Runway.
I love the musical. I don't know
yeah, you do. Yeah, we went to see that. There it goes, upside 5. Yeah, okay, so doing nothing all day until this. Boom. Oh, we just got stopped out on something. All right. Oh, gosh. All right, there's Intel right there. So we diamond hands this one, I feel like, all the way down. But there it goes, breaking the 50-period moving average. Good for you. Not good for you, Intel. I don't mean that sarcastically, but that has been a great trade there. If it wants to go back up to the upside, great. We sold 20% of our position yesterday, $1 higher at $30.70. That was the price I wound up getting. So that's, or I think it was 68 or 69. But anyways, nice downside play there. So far, this is the only thing that I think I've sold in the last little while that's actually going to turn out to be a decent sell. And that's only one day. So, this name probably gets $35 on Monday, right?
You know what lost the bid? I got filled on.
Oklo?
I took ARM. Remember,
ARM.
So yesterday there was a weird thing.
Did you feel long, or you got
No. Take some out because when that headline, I only remember this because the Intel Nvidia headline was the reason. So when Nvidia and Intel had that announced the joint partnership, a couple of things were weak, and AMD was one of them, but ARM was one of them. But then Jensen came out in his press conference, and he said nothing's going to change with ARM. And so what had ended up happening was, okay, so first of all, like the 50 period is what I was concerned with. So I bought ARM back when there was a big massive. The only thing I got the April low on was ARM. Everything else I had bought in March. So the April low, I only got ARM. And the 50 period got broken once, and I kind of held on anyways. But it lost the 50 period again on that news. But I didn't sell after that Jensen press conference. And it ended up, kind of catching a bit of a bid in the afternoon. So what I said to myself was, okay, fine, it's underneath that 150. Look at the support at 145. If it loses that in the next few days, then I'll take some out because it's under the 50 period. But when Jensen made the positive comments, I'm thinking, maybe it's going to bounce. And then this has been incredibly weak today. So you look at the chips, and this has not been good on ARM. Micron's not been good either. So there's been a lot of chip names, despite the fact the market's making some highs. Micron came all the way back from the lows anyways. It's still down 3.5%, but this thing was really getting smoked earlier. But yeah, ARM, I think there'll be an opportunity to get back in if it dips further. I still hold some. I didn't take it all. I took like 10% out because I usually only take 10% out of that stock because I want it to be a long-term holding and then look for a place to jump back in. Just a quick update, Palantir. I keep looking at the imbalance locator as if Palantir is going to show up. It's a NASDAQ. It's not New York, but it keeps on. It's just muscle memory. Like if you're expecting imbalances, then sometimes, I'm looking up as if I'm going to get an update. We won't know for a bit, but I did do the dip buy back into that 183 area. My out is this prior bar with the support here, which is at 182.70. So if it breaks underneath that, I'm getting out. If it gets to the high of the day, I'm getting out. And we'll see what happens at 3 o'clock. Just a quick update, because I know I had mentioned there was a big buy imbalance on BBAI. That has paired off again. So it was 6 million. And I'm just saying that because I know there's a lot of viewers that are interested in BBAI. I'm not singling this one out, but it's now only 3.8 million. So it's flying around there, but it's nowhere near the biggest one. CPNG, 21 million. HL, 33 million to sell. 33 million to sell, and it's 325. So we're going to see some pretty gigantic numbers on that locator. So far, so good. Palantir, a little dip buy. Want to see if they can get into the high of the day here. Palantir, and I want to remind everybody of how
90s now?
What Palantir told you on Fed Day. Like Palantir was on the initial move, outside of maybe Open Door, on the initial move on Fed Day was the one that moved the furthest down and looked the weakest, right? And then when Powell was on the podium and finishing, it was all of a sudden the strongest. And look at the next 2 days. When it shows you that trapped shorts on Fed Day and blew out the top and was stronger than the rest of the market. So what does it do the next 2 days? Breakout, buy VWAP. Breakout, buy VWAP. The only thing that was a fail today was not doing the breakout part of the thing, which, that's just kind of how it is. But Palantir, super strong name, probably getting back to, what did you say the all-time high was?
190 flat.
That. I don't know. That. So this one might be Monday. I was gonna say next week, but that actually might just flat out be Monday, because it's $5-7 away now. If you get like a big imbalance to the buy side and it closes, because it's supposed to be a buy. If it's a big buy imbalance and goes to like 86 or 87 today, then you're only 2 points away at that point.
Okay, so first of all, Google right now, monster trade. We've got some good going right now, man. That was a good move right there. Okay, so the last major rebalance, I was not here on a Friday, okay? And Palantir absolutely tanked. And Obi and Neil were here, and I was in the chat wondering, what was going on with that kind of a move. It was right here. It was this day. It was the rebalance in June, so it was the half year. So right now you're getting the quarter year, 3/4 year rebalance. Yeah. I scooped Palantir up. Here, I was in the chat. I remember because I was watching the show. I don't have a life. So I was watching the show at home on my day off, and it made a move from Neil, and I mean, we can call this up. I can actually.
It had a monster sell imbalance out of nowhere. It was an unexpected huge sell.
Right, exactly. And then I was just even in the chat like, guys, you gotta. And then boom, we bought that. This is the last time I bought Palantir, was the last rebalance day. And then whatever, it did its thing. It opened up much higher on Monday, floated back in, and then boomed itself. So this was my last reload on Palantir. And it's just funny that came in on June 27th. There was
a rumor that someone screwed up.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, the only person that screwed up was people that didn't buy it. But at the end of the day, Palantir, hello world, don't read. Why did you read it?
I said don't read it and you read it.
I don't get it. Okay. She's testing something. My thing is frozen here, so I'm going to have to. My whole computer is frozen over here right now. But anyways, yeah, let's go over to Adara. Okay, there you go. My signal's better. What's up, Adara?
Hey, keep an eye here on mRNA. This one popping back up a little bit. So in case you guys missed it, we do have some votes coming from the CDC panel on COVID vaccines. They are voted against universally recommending them. But now the CDC panel has also voted against requiring prescriptions for COVID shots. This seems to be received well by mRNA, which is bouncing a little bit here again. The CDC panel now voting against requiring prescriptions for COVID-19 vaccinations. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you guys didn't know why Sean just read that, and I was about to do the same thing anyways. So when you see us look this way in this two-shot, we're looking at a monitor which shows us ourselves. So I know that we're both on screen, or what you guys are seeing at any given moment, which is kind of important when you're doing a show like this. So these guys put on the screen, the production put on the screen words on our monitor. I'm like, if you put words on the monitor that we're supposed to look at for the show, what are we going to do? We're going to Ron Burgundy that son, you know what, and we're going to read them. So you put something there, and we're going to read it as long as it's not inappropriate.
What do you think we are, Sharif and Joe? I mean, we pre-read our stuff.
No, super chats I'll pre-read because we've learned our lesson with that one. 100p we learned with the super chats, and I'm looking at you, Kyle Burdett. Or Big Spile Burdett, whichever one you're calling yourself these days, that's what we have to do. I just saw this, a good question. Life's interpretation. I love these introspective names. Sean and Neil, did you go to school for finance? What got you into trading? Yes, but that's not what got me into trading. I went to school originally for accounting. After 1 year, realized that's really what I just did not want to do that with my life. Just a quick trail I'd hear on. But first off, on Palantir, the $0.50 has a boat of resistance. And when I look it up, anyways, it has a boat of resistance, and we just hit 330. So it's not really following through past the $0.50. So I'm just jumping out of that trade. But I went to school for accounting and then transferred to economics with a specialization in finance. So the answer is yes. But that isn't the reason. Like everybody else in my program, I was looking at going to go work at a bank and start that process.
Right.
And then 100%, I was flat out. This is what's happening, and this is what I'm doing because that's what you do with a finance degree. And then we were watching the Maple Leafs at I forget the bar.
Oh, we went to Darren's house, I think, maybe afterwards.
No. Well, that was a different time.
Oh, was it? Okay.
So we were watching with our high school buddies. It was
high school.
They had Akiberg was on the team, so it was right around that time. For the Leafs, we're watching a playoff game with 7 or 8 of our high school friends.
I think it was called Peel Pub.
Peel Pub.
Yeah.
And we're all just shooting the ish. And then I remember at the time, now we can't see our program monitor. But so at the time, Sean had just started a day trading firm. So we were just all talking about what everyone's doing, and he was randomly telling stories about them. That sounds pretty damn cool. Now we have to look to know what light is on with the camera, which I'm not used to.
Ramin's screwing with us right now.
You're really just messing with us, Ramin. And so anyway, Sean was talking about them. Sounds pretty cool, man. I'd like to give that a try. Get me in. He's like, yes. And that was sort of it for me. But you don't need, to be a trader, you don't need a finance degree at all. Our best trader on our floor, our 2 best traders, one of them did. He had a business degree, but the other one was an engineering student. And to be honest with you, he didn't finish his engineering degree. I would not recommend that to anybody. Actually, he might have after the fact, but I remember, I think he did. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I think he might have actually finished it. Because you don't need the degree, but I personally believe post-secondary education is something, if you have the ability to do so, you should go ahead and do it. If you're interested in finance and the markets and business, then go study that and give yourself something to fall back on.
There we go.
You know, just because you don't need a degree to day trade doesn't mean, I think it would be foolish. I think it's even more important if you are going into trading and want to make that for money, then it's more important to have a good fallback because you're doing something which is risky. So no, I don't use it, but yes, I think it's very important. Thank you for the super chat, big smile. Who me? I am a good boy. We love you, but no, you're not.
All right. Yeah, no, he's fine. There goes. So first of all, Google now 60 cents in the money. We gave ourselves initially 30 cents worth of risk. There's your 2-for-1 banger right there to close. I've changed my stop now to flat. Let's just let this rest ride. All right, let's do this together. You right-click your screen right here. You go to Go To, and we pick the date of June 27th, so I can show you the chaos that happened on Palantir. Let's just go to this date. Uh-oh, this might take a minute to load. Maybe I just wanted to show you that you can do that. So we'll let this load. There it is. That wasn't that long.
It wasn't that bad.
So here is eSignal giving me the goods right there. So look what time this happened, right at 3:50, right? This was last quarter. So this was June the 27th. I was at home pounding the table to get in there and buy some Palantir. This is what Palantir did, man. It tanked for no reason other than technically it was a sell imbalance on the locator. I bought some and got lucky for sure. Bought some right at the end of the day at 131. That's where we got long at. And then look what happened in the aftermarket. Doot, all the way back up. I might be looking to do some trading like this today if I see something do this. And then look what happened on Monday. I'm long 131. There's 137. Opens up 138. Was pounding the table in the chat there. As I sat at home, Marissa was like, what are you doing? There it is. And then it had, anyways, I don't need to show you anymore. But that's the trade right there, found on eSignal simply by putting in the date. There's the huge move that went to the downside for Palantir. This exact event last quarter. So let's wait to see if something comes out on Palantir right there. That's just the power of eSignal. We want to thank them for giving us that opportunity. I mean, a lot of charting platforms do that, but that was pretty quick. We do not have supercomputers here at all.
I feel like I did that on mine once, and maybe it was probably my computer why I was so slow.
Yeah, maybe. But anyways, that's what it is right there. So yeah, thank you to Big Smile for there saying he was very, very good. We talked about that. Thank you, Patrick, again for your super chat. That means a lot, man. And I'm glad that you're having the week that you're having. And thank you so much for that contribution. I mean, having the best week he's had. Thank you to Joe and Sean and all of us for those trades. You're welcome, man. We'll check you out on X. But thank you so much, Patrick, for that super chat and for continuing to support the show. Means a lot for us, right? And so there it is. You only get what you put in. You're right there. All things Trump. Right there, talking about education greater than everything. So, all right, yes, there we go. So we've already put this stop in. I'm just going to keep upping it right now, 255.09. So we'll just put that in right now as our next stop. So this is a trade that we just gave you, 255.09. Can now obviously not be a loser and just continues to pump higher. Again, we talked about this Google trade before it happened. It was down into here. I said, if we can get that break, we'll go for it. That's exactly what wound up happening. We went for it. Now we're in it. We have 20% left. That's enough. So we'll let that run here into the close. It's 3:36 right now. Can you see Meta? I don't even have to answer this. Rook 78, the answer is yes. Can we see Meta run to 700 next week? I thought Meta was at 770 right now. 800, I mean, sorry.
Oh.
I thought Meta...
700, that's like 10% down. We don't want that.
No, but he said, could we see it? I mean, I could see 700 next week or 800. 800 next week. How about Monday? I mean, I think that all of these names can go... Like, Meta's already moved today. It opens the day at 788, goes down to 770. That's a $20 move. Just because.
Oh, I just can't think of what could make it move down to 700. 800,
The market.
800, yes. I mean, 800, yes. That's the way that we're trending right now. But I think to get like a 10% down move in Meta, of course, it's obviously possible, right? But I think this, in terms of it happening, like what would be the catalyst for it? You know, the pullback after the Meta Connect was like nothing. Like, like Apple at least gave you a dip buy on their event. Meta was like, whatever, let's go down. Let's go in like 2%, and we're not going to go any further. Someone just asked in the chat for early looks on the imbalances. None of the names that I think most people are interested in, like Robinhood's a NASDAQ stock, Apple 11's a NASDAQ stock, Palantir's a NASDAQ stock, Nvidia. So only New York names give you the early look, and the biggest one is HL at 33 million to the sell side. There's lots over $1 million here, and used pretty significant at 3.7. BBAI is all over the place. Like 1 minute it's 3 million, the next minute it's 7 million, then it's 4 million. That's one I'm going to be keeping an eye on because it's been pretty explosive, and we've seen the way that it's been able to trade. So if I see that with like a 10 million, I'd be really excited on BBA. Factor in how big the volume, the imbalance is relative to the volume. Like that matters a lot. Like BBI has done 100 million shares, so I'd like it to be the closer to 10 million, the better for BBI. Remember I said I was going to get out because it got a bigger buy imbalance? It turned out it didn't have to. Oh no, now it's gone. Okay, I can still see myself. Turned out I didn't have to. But the way I look at it, if it's a growing buy imbalance, then the technical short trade is something I'm going to cover, because it just doesn't matter at that point. It would have worked out almost to the volume weighted average price, but for sure that's a good one to watch. And then I said the other one, Palantir, like I said, it gave you that 50-cent move a couple times in there for the reloads, but it's really stalling out at that $0.50. And we are expecting this one to be a buy, but as we were just talking about, we were expecting a small buy last time, and it ended up being a gigantic sell. That's something you will see every now and then. FFAI is moving, apparently, and people keep talking about that name. Faraday.
All right, we've got some...
No, but it's not really moving.
We've got some Drake in our ear right now. What did I miss? So we didn't miss much today, man. So that's what we're saying. Let's go. There it is, man. Now we go into the Dollar Club. All right, we've taken 3 trades today. 3 trades today. All right, you guys told me a long time ago you want some real trades for me. There it is, man. This is what we have. We have Apple. Bang the long today, guys. Bang that long. That's $5. Boom for Apple. Intel. Let's go, let's go. Intel was a huge short today. We have that one. And then there's Google, man. Shout out to Roadrunner in the chat. He just tripled up his position on my 255 take. So congratulations, Roadrunner, man. If it lines up, take it. That's a great trade for you, man. It's a great trade for everybody if you went long right there into the close for Google. Market doing nothing right here. Google going back up to the highs. We'll see if it breaks 255 and change. I do have another offer up there at 255.97, but we did take it out again at 70s. So I'd like to get some more out. We now have 15% left on that one. BBAI almost at my take profit. I already did. I got out at 650, unless it's at 750 again. Yeah, so the BBAI trade, thank you guys for tagging me in this and stuff like that, because we talked about BBAI, but it was during this spot. I still have some left from all of this. I did not rebuy right there because I didn't want to average up into it. My average price is 4. So I got, again, on this way up, we got 650, we got 750, we got 850. I'm doing the exact same thing again for 10% of the position again. So out 10% here, out 10% here, out another 10% there. So we did that already. So that would leave me with 40% left, the other way around. We'll still have 40% left, and if it blasts, then great. We'll take that. So we're going to wait for Big Barry Eye to do that. Nice little pullback here for Google for sure. We have 15% left. We've talked about that. And guess where my stop now goes? 255.16. So let's just cancel that right now. Remember, this is a dollar trade with 30 cents worth of risk, or less than 20 cents worth of risk to begin with. 255.19. That'll be our stop now. We'll put that in for our last 15% right now on that trade. Yeah, so hopefully you guys having some good times there. I had lost, here it is. No, here it is right here. So this is what we're kind of looking at right now. Robinhood should be an addition. That should be coming through very, very soon. Let me see what winds up happening with Robinhood.
It's HOD already.
Is it HOD right now? Okay, so Hood, just take away an O, and that's where you have HOD right now, Robinhood, high a day. So that's what's happening right there. Apple share decrease, so maybe Apple gets to the downside. But at the end of the day, here, you can just have a look at this. We stopped out of Apple already right there. So that was a big trade alert for Apple. As you guys know, we're long down there, stopped out right there. So it's all going to be about this. This is the imbalance. What the hell? Is that Hecla Mining or something like that? What is HL? Yeah, how did I know that was Hecla Mining? Don't tell my wife, but I still can remember some stuff. There goes, because I use that as an excuse. I'm getting too old. I don't remember. But there goes Hecla right now, 33 million shares to sell. So HL, how many shares did it do today? 21 million. This could be the one. All right, so we'll see what it comes out as. But right now, this is what it's looking like for an early look. It will flip around, and at 350, we'll get the real good there. If Hecla Mining is a sell, I feel like I'm just going to go over there and smash it short. So we'll have to wait to see what ends up happening there with HL. We'll wait for Robinhood, and I already give you that example of Palantir. Palantir fell $9 and gave you the buy of the century because it was free money right after that. So if that happens again, man, we'll be sitting there with open wide to get that, hands open to grab some shares. So we'll pay attention. You're now 7 minutes away from all of this to go down. So I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are too. If anything pops up, we'll try to find it right there. No, it's not, Mr. Westermeyer, right there. Is it? If it is one of your long-term portfolio holdings?
Hecla?
It's been a nice move higher, so you might want to get out there on the daily for Hecla. But I don't know what that sells about. I don't know if it's being bought out or what, but there goes Hecla Mining right now. And this is what it looks like on the daily, so nice move. It's on the bottom right here. Nice move for Hecla. So I don't know. I don't know enough about it, obviously, but nice move there to the upside. Great take by you, Mr. Westermeyer, because that's a great break. 680, boom, up there to $11. I hope you got a double or so on that one. Nice play there for HL.
Yeah,
guys.
very curious about what would get you in that one. At least on one of the, in the S&P completion, it's supposed to be a buy, for what it's worth.
We get out some more Google.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Right, like you can come out like Palantir did that last time, like just because it's supposed to be one way. But I do see a small buy for Hecla Mining on mine. In terms of what's expected, and again, it's only ever just expectations. Did it just pair? It was just, I swear that it was just there. I'm just gonna refresh.
What?
HL, and it's gone.
It'll be
now
back.
It's only 4.6.
Oh wow! See, so look, so show everybody the 57.
So there's a paired off 57 million. So it was.
Oh, that's
over,
Mr. Westermeyer. He put in 30 million shares.
It was 32. Now it's down to 6.
Here comes Google
and it paired almost all of it off. So that's what you have to pay attention to. With only 5 minutes to go, now we just wait to see what happens. You're going to see some ridiculous numbers. I always try not to overreact to them because for a lot of traders, it's like, oh my goodness, it's overwhelming. What to look at? Just try and pick the most significant one that you can find. Ideally, that's Robinhood. If it's not, it's not. It could always be a big bear. It could be anything at this point. Could be Hecla. That could show up again. Adara? She was.
Maybe I'm not logged in or something. I can't hear anybody anymore. Oh, she was muted.
Yeah.
Oh, she was muted. Okay. All right, so just quickly, so it's not me going crazy. That's at least pretty good. Right there, so 256, we just got it on Google. So we're almost out, man. We have 10% left right now on this Google Play. I hope some of you took that, man. Roadrunner, just thank you so much for becoming a member. I hope that trade that you made, you're either out of it or thinking about it because things could change on the imbalance. So I'm here to tell everybody, if you're in position right now, I'm actually going to heed my own advice. I just got some more out there at 88. If you're still in something, you may want to get out. You have T-minus 3.5 minutes right now before potential hell breaks loose. So what up, Adara, now with the mic turned on.
Sorry about that, guys. Keep an eye on GDRX and HIMS. We do have this story coming in. Apparently, the Trump administration officials are considering a website to help people shop for cheaper drugs. All these telemedicine or telehealth companies are being impacted here by this news. GDRX and HIMS on the move. Back to you.
Thanks, Adara. And just I want to remind everybody, like it's not just the S&P that's rebalancing. You've got the Russell doing rebalancing. So you've got pretty much like across the board, they're all going to go nuts. There's not anything that's going to be immune to this, right? So you can have any kind of small cap, big cap, that's going to show up on this locator. So if you are in something, it could get out of hand. Paul Thomas, I do not own Oklo, so I'm not holding it over the weekend. I have shares in SMR. I'm long SMR, not Oklo. Looking at the charts, I wish it was Oklo, but it's not. So Oklo has been going absolutely ham. I haven't traded it. My take on it is this is about as parabolic as it can get. And you just had, you had one day which put out, since the move happened here on Oklo, breaking away from 73, you've effectively had one day do the same as the entire prior week, and the prior week was pretty impressive on its own for Oklo. And now you've done the same thing in a single day, up 29%. I know that's why everyone's hollering about it, but I'm pretty sure I've never said that I've owned that stock. Probably traded it here, but as a SMR, yes. Oklo, no. I'd expect there's a chance to see that name here on the board. That Hecla has a huge open interest. Like, it's got the largest paired volume by a country mile for whatever reason. And I keep checking. There's nothing crazy going on here for sure expected out of that name, at least that I can see. So Robinhood and AppLovin, those are the two additions to the S&P 500 I think that are going to be the biggest. And as you can see, Robinhood is actually headed down. It just came from the high of the day into VWAP with 90 seconds to go. Reminds me of Tesla. Like, on Tesla's big addition to the S&P 500, it actually was selling off going into 350. And anyone that got in early, it definitely made some people sweat. And then if you just waited until after the gigantic buy and balance, you were never sweating. But if you were buying back into it, I remember that day. Because there were some traders who were like, ooh, this is too good of a price. And they started buying it. And seconds before the imbalance hit, if it didn't come out of buy and balance, there were some people that would have been going to get hurt really, really bad. I remember that day very well.
All right, one last minute left. Yo, happy birthday, Beantown Patriot. I loved being in Boston. Absolutely fantastic. We got invited back there again this next summer, so I don't know if we'll go there or not. We are also potentially going to Vermont and Minnesota, so we'll see everybody there as well. Here it is, Beantown. Happy birthday, Beantown Patriot. I hope you're spending it with the ones you love and you've had a successful day trading and you're enjoying yourself here with our show. So I'm going to get out one more piece here on Google. Right now at 90, we hold 5% left. I do now have my stop at 255.50. If it just breaks that, we're going to get out for a 50-cent winner. It's a Dollar Club member as well, as we only have just a few seconds left now before these imbalances. So I'll just put them right here, and then we can see what winds up happening. Stay on my screen, okay, Andreas, sorry, as we watch out to see what's going on right now for this. Andreas is here from Bolivia, so it's like nice. I keep on mixing up the names. Okay, here we go. 255.90 right now. Here we go. The imbalances are out right now. So, all right, what's going on? There's Robinhood. Yeah, Robinhood does come with a big buy. So there's the shoot up for Robinhood right up there to 124 and still going. Look at that move for Robinhood right there, man. You see it? Now it's gone. It is upside there for Robinhood. It comes out 122. We gave you the long. I mean, we should be long. We're not long. That was right there as it was marked there for that long. There goes Robinhood up 8 million. And look, man, this is the goods right here. There it is right there. Share increase, Robinhood, boom. Addition, it goes upside right there. Could have been long, but not. So we'll see that. Apple with a nice little buy and balance. Hey, you guys know I love that stock. I'm not seeing anything else, man. I'm not seeing that Hecla on here. Warner Brothers Discovery.
It's supposed to be a buy Hecla, by the way.
Okay, so any kind of move there. Look at this gap right there, up there. Nice move. So I don't see, unless you guys tell me that something's really tanking right now, I don't see anything going
Warner
too
Brothers
nuts.
Is huge.
AppLovin or APP, AppLovin, trying to see what that's doing right now as well, as that's been an increase. That just shot up $15 right there on that increase that we gave you as well. All right, now Robinhood's gone. So you got to watch out. What is Robinhood doing right now? Still there, so it must be still there.
I don't see it. It just disappeared.
Yeah, I know, but it'll come back. There it is right there. See, Robinhood's still there as a buy. Sometimes they disappear. They got to get reloaded.
That's Dirt McGurk.
Yeah, Dirt McGurk right there. We got out of Google. At look at where my stop was, 255.50. Talk about slippage. We just got there, 50 cents of slippage on our last 5%. Sucks, but oh well. Didn't even touch.
It's almost like whoever's trying to acquire WBD might have just put a buy and balance in that bad boy.
Sir.
16 million shares. Remember that the speculation is that they could get a buyout deal with them, and it could be over 20. But let's be. Oh, Palantir getting a pop as well. I was about
CNBC mention.
Oh, a CNBC mention. Yeah, I didn't see.
You probably mentioned it being the best.
No, I don't see Palantir on the list, but you have to scroll down to see things that are less than 5 million shares. So it's entirely probable that Palantir is on that list. But Robinhood, that was a little bit dirty, I think, when you saw it do that little bit of a pair. But the 5 or 6 million shares is actually significantly smaller than what was anticipated. And its paired volume is 70 million.
Which one? Oh,
Robinhood. And it's where is it? There it is. It's even further down. 73 million now and 4.8 million buy and balance. That's underwhelming. You know, like I'd want that to be in the, if it's going to be 70 paired, I want it to be like 10, 20, something a little bit larger. And it is flying around. It's right back into the highs. But for Like that, when I saw it disappear, I punched out, and it actually wicked. Like it went from it was like 14.20 something where I got in, but that's about, I think, the best you could have got.
Nice.
It came all the way back when when that paired off, it looked like it paired off. That wick went all the way back to the beginning.
Nice.
Because I think everybody got psyched out. That being said, I would grade this as somewhat disappointing. Outside of WBD, it's the only significant one. Nothing is that big. Lumen is of interest as a small capper because I talked about relative volume. LUMN, it's gone now. Shoot. Never mind. It was 5, and then it actually, because it was
Look
5,
at AppLovin.
down. Where's AppLovin?
Yeah, we're
all
AppLovin.
pairing off here.
Look at AppLovin just ripping right
good.
there. AppLovin just taking levels. Look at AppLovin since it's been announced on the daily. This was $400 a month ago. $650. AppLovin was $400 6 months ago. $650 today. Congratulations, AppLovin. You are AppLovin the action on your stock. So what's up, Adara?
I just want to let you guys know here, Microsoft also really strong, as we know. Beyond any imbalance-related news, it is worth noting that Bloomberg just reported, or a Bloomberg reporter just posted here on X, that Microsoft is going to be raising Xbox prices on October 3rd. So Xbox price increase on watch here for MSFT. Also, New York Post reporting here on VSCO. Apparently, the CEO of Victoria's Secret wants to take the company back to its more sultry roots. To use the word they use. So I guess VSCO going back to its sultry roots. Keep an eye on that stock potentially as well. Back to you.
Very much.
Sultry roots.
It's what roots?
Sultry roots.
Sultry roots. Ooh, I like that.
All right. AppLovin's still going. I think the best thing to do is Robinhood at 355, so in 30 seconds you're going to get a refresh of all of this. So we keep on seeing them disappearing, coming back, but you're going to see a refresh at 355. So I'm not sure what action that's going to mean for Robinhood, but we're going to watch out for it. I'd like it to stay a bit, and then maybe we can punch long. But right now, closing action on Robinhood, obviously really exciting. Look at the big volume spikes that we just got there on Hood. So here we go with only 2 seconds left. Let's see what Robinhood does right now. Probably a long, and it looks like, did it just stay there? It didn't go up that much. The problem is I don't see anything on here again. So darn it, I don't think much happened there. Robinhood did not give too much movement into there it is. It actually went down. I just saw it. Oh, Uber has a buy actually. Wow, Uber's back to a hunch again. All right, nice move there for Uber off this, back up to 99 bucks. I like that one. So Robinhood, I don't even see it anymore on here, so I'm not sure exactly what that story is for Hood.
It's very small, last one I saw. I'm going to take...
Look at Google. This is why you get out, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, that was a great trade, honestly. But, okay, so there's Robinhood. Yeah, 125 now. New all-time highs for Robinhood on their inclusion. So, again, congratulations. Robinhood looks like it's the one right now. What's up, Adara?
Now here in Oracle and Meta, because we have more news coming in the last couple minutes of the session. Oracle reportedly in talks with Meta for a $20 billion AI cloud computing deal. Again, $20 billion AI cloud computing deal between Meta and Oracle reportedly in the works. Back to you.
I was going to do the market on close, but I left in like a small portion of my sell order, so I'll take a small position in Robinhood, but it's like a fraction of what I was kind of hoping we were going to be able to do. It is what it is. It's not that big, so I'll probably just punch into it with a couple minutes to go. But hey, I want to shout out to everybody who has been paying attention to what you're doing over at Trade the Pool, because instead of risking your own money, what you have the ability to do now is trade with someone else's capital, where you don't have as much of a fear of losing, and you're not moving your stop loss too soon. You can actually get enough capital as well to make it worth your time. So you can aim for big profits and not just a couple $100 a month. This is the revolution called limited risk trading, and it's powered by Trade the Pool. So how it works: join Trade the Pool, hit the profit goal, and keep 70% of the profits. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now for 10% off. Shout out to Trade the Pool, who I keep saying will be in the house in less than 1 month. 3 weeks, I believe, if my math is correct, which I know it is because it's really easy math. Nice. Canadian Thanksgiving, they'll be coming. Mitch and I believe the owner of Trade the Pool, or founder, will be coming by, so we'll get to have them on air. Although you've seen Mitch before, He comes on once a week. We'll actually have him in the house. So big shout out to him.
Yeah, we're excited for that.
Yeah, we're excited for that for sure. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody, you're going to get a treat on Monday.
Oh.
Obi's going to be in on Monday.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I'm getting on a plane tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just going to visit my brother. I haven't seen Len in, it's crazy. Like, I haven't seen him in months, and I get to see my nephews. They come in the summer, at least once, but I haven't seen my bro in almost a year, which is kind of crazy.
There, obviously, and I'm sure you'll be fine there.
Oh yeah, well,
are you taking an Uber or a plane, or what are you taking?
No, we're flying Uber. No, at some point I'm actually thinking of doing. I've done the drive on the way back.
How far of a drive is that? I was just joking.
We did it in 24
hours?
No, it wasn't that bad. We stopped in like
9 hours for Boston was enough.
We stopped in Quebec. I flew there, but my parents were already there, and then I drove back with them. So I shared the driving with my dad, because my mom's like, whatever, she's not going to. But yeah, it was an okay drive. It's nothing. Nothing crazy. It's nothing that.
Yeah, no, fly. I was just joking about the Uber stuff.
But one of these days, I do want to do the drive, like proper.
Yeah, take the summer, take 2 or 3 weeks off. Yeah, because
one of these days.
Too much to get over there. Oracle with the new $20 billion deal with Meta. So there goes Oracle right here into the close. So congratulations to anybody that has Oracle on their mind as well here. CDE is one that keeps on going to the upside right here. Core Mining, I don't know what this is. It's not really doing anything right now. All right, let's just check out Robinhood into the close just to see where this winds up printing.
I just got in all. I'm going to go to the
Okay, yeah, get out of here. All right, 124.70 right here to close it out for Robinhood. Let's see if Nvidia did anything here into the close as well. Yeah, nice little bump up there. So I did not get longer on Nvidia. I was trying to. I bid 175. Didn't fill me here at the end of the day. Thanks everybody for watching, man. This has been awesome. Awesome. The NASDAQ is going to end the day at all-time highs. It looks like going out at 0.7% right now for the NASDAQ, the ES 0.4. So as everything continues to rock out, man, Microsoft also hitting higher highs there as they're going to up the price of Xbox. I didn't know Xbox was still a thing, but there it goes, boom, up to 511, from 511 up to 518 goes Softy. This is the Mag 7 that's going next, everybody. Microsoft, it still has 550 in its sights, so that should be interesting. All right, let's see where Robinhood prints at the end of the day. This is going to be the big one, 124.70. All right, there it is, man. The countdown. Is the countdown now automated, by the way? Because I just Oh, you pressed it. Okay. So here we go. It's actually going to be a little bit. This is brought to you by VinFast. 3, 2, and 1. We are now closed. So hopefully you guys are now experiencing. There it is, Robinhood. 124.77. I think, was the big print to end the day. So it kind of closes where it was there, Robinhood. So again, congratulations anybody that had that nice little run up. We were sharing some of that information with you. It looks like it's going to be all good there for Robinhood. What a week, everybody. NASDAQ, monstrous. NASDAQ falls down just a little bit at the close, but that's okay. Ends the day up 0.63. What a week. All-time highs. Go Pack Go. Right now we've been drinking like 3 or 4 of these. This is 30 ounces. I don't know how many liters that is, or gallons, but not a gallon. But there it is. Shout out to the Packers. Shout out to your team as well. Hopefully Neil will have a safe trip, and we'll welcome Obi on Monday and Neil back on Tuesday. So from everybody here at Trader TV Live, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for all the super chats this week. It's been absolutely fantastic. We have Neil, we have Adara. They're on the recap show, so don't go anywhere. I believe they're ready, Andre. If they are, then let's go. All right, back over to the desk. It's Neil, it's Adara, and I'll check you on Monday. Ciao for now. Have a great weekend.
Welcome everybody, man. Market recap is starting now when the markets are absolutely buzzing today. You had Tesla surging on bold AI vision. You've got Nvidia dropping another $900 million. They're just dropping money. This time to lock down more talent. FedEx, they were able to defy global trade headwinds with a nice earnings beat. And then you had Apple going absolutely ham all day. You saw Sean in it 95% of the day with the iPhone 17 drawing crowds, lineups in China, amazing. And then quantum stocks, Adara, quantum stocks across the board, ripping faces off and blowing out the shorts and ripping higher. So, without further ado, let's jump right on into it because it was an absolutely wild day. And I want to start with Tesla if we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because Tesla, look, they got a Baird upgrade to $548 was the price target. And of course, Musk's $8.5 trillion pay target has been unveiled. So we know he's invested in this bad boy. He just put another $1 billion into it, and Tesla to the upside big time.
But what about Nvidia too, Neil, right? Because we have that deal between Nvidia and Fabrica. It's just over $900 million. Now, of course, we know Nvidia already made another really big deal yesterday with Intel. You can see the two CEOs of those companies at the bottom of the screen. So Nvidia M&A turn potentially. It certainly seems like something they're expressing more interest in. I want to see if this trend continues.
Yeah, we'd like to see it, hopefully. And if you go right back to next on the list, now we talked about the beat by FedEx. Yes, FedEx beats top and bottom. FedEx gapping up after market, but FedEx did not keep the move, unfortunately. So, it was one of those, it's a good bellwether for the market. They jumped at 5%, but it eventually gave it back. Still holding out pretty well is FedEx. But that's one story that I think got pushed to the wayside, particularly by the next name.
Yeah, Apple. I mean, we know that Sharif was talking about this. People are trying to throw the iPhone Slim. It's so indestructible. This is their first slimmer model, so nice look there. We know that also there's all these lines in China, as you mentioned. People really want this iPhone 17. Now, we'll have to see how it actually holds up. Apple still does have concerns with the fact that they don't really have any AI, but this is a pretty major hardware update and lots of demand for the iPhone 17 series as well, Neil.
And right down the list, we told you guys the quantum names were running. Now, I don't know what Martin Shkreli's up to, but hopefully he's not actually shorting these names.
I found no evidence that he was.
And we don't know, he just called them. I'm having fun because he has fun online about it as well, which I think is pretty cool. Quantum stocks absolutely soaring. You did have a headline about the U.S. government continuing to invest in quantum and believing and just adding fuel to the fire, let's just say. Because across the board, Rigetti, just an example, 15% to the upside. You had QUBT, you had IonQ. It's just an absolute blowout. A 27%, I believe, was the best, and 15% was the worst when it came to those quantum stocks. And it wasn't like that was the only thing that I think got swept under the rug a little bit, because the last 2 days on Crowd have been impressive, and I feel like we haven't been talking about it enough.
CrowdStrike had a massive rally yesterday. They closed near highs yesterday. Was up, I believe, more than 12%. We know that they do have these targets here with their annual recurring revenue. It's quite significant. They also announced the acquisition of Pangea. So much like Nvidia, they're making deals, they're taking names, and the stock today a little bit choppier, but yesterday great performance and tons of positive analyst notes on CrowdStrike as well. Again, let's see if that momentum continues, but the momentum did not continue with the last name on this list, Neil.
Yeah, unfortunately, look, Intel, they got a great deal. $5 billion investment in partnership with Nvidia. But unfortunately, sometimes when you have a gap up on news like this, you are going to see the back end of it. And that's exactly what happened as they got a price target. They got downgraded even after this deal. Well, that's what happens when you go up 30% in a single day. So unfortunately for Intel, there was a lot of profit taking the last couple of days, just continuation in both of these sessions. Now, they got a stake from the U.S. government, of course, and now the stake from Nvidia. One of the things I think that kind of stunk for them was there was no talk of foundry with this Nvidia deal. Like, Intel's not making Nvidia's chips. And I've made the point, if you don't trust yourself to fabricate your own advanced chips, Intel, how is it possible you're going to ever land Nvidia? So if and when they get to that point, I think then you can start considering maybe a further partnership that would excite people a little bit more, because their foundry is going to take a couple of years to get profitable. And unfortunately, selling in here today, but let's be real, this was a $25 stock a couple of days ago, and it's at $29.5 right now. We shouldn't be complaining. You should be happy with what you were able to get, but the last couple of days, big pullback.
Definitely a big pullback there, Neil. I guess we can talk about some of these other stories in more detail, including Tesla and their Baird upgrade. Now, we have this, you can check this out on X at TTV Research as well, but this really goes down some of the very, very bold claims that Baird is making about Tesla. They believe that the company could conservatively reach a $5 trillion market cap by 2035, but less conservatively, it could reach a $12 trillion market cap by 2035. Now, as I said in the midday, the actual target for Elon Musk's pay package is right in between there, around $8.5 trillion over the next 10 years. So you could argue this is kind of more of a midpoint look. But again, this Baird, despite actually including Tesla's car sales as one of the milestones they should meet, they say that, hey, this isn't really being viewed as a car company anymore. It's being viewed as more of an AI company. And so with that in mind, analysts and investors should be pricing in their AV elements a little bit more.
Yeah, like right now, the reason you see that aggressive price targeting and certainly the growth that you're hearing about and for Elon to make that, this is about physical AI at this point. This is about robotics. This is about automated driving for them. So this is what we need to see. And some of the things that got thrown out there, and we got some flack for saying that it wasn't as ridiculous as people might think, that you could see 1 million of these Optimus robots out there. Now, granted, you're a long ways away from these actually doing anything. We get that. We want to see that. We actually want to see models on the line. We want to be able to order them. People can get them in homes. But the addressable market, when it comes down to Optimus, the potential is certainly there. And that's where you're getting these price target raises. That's where you're starting to see these numbers. That's where the vision of Elon being able to get his payout. It's all about this physical AI. No question about it. And Tesla, look, let's be real. If it's going to get to 548 this year, then one of these two aspects of the company, whether it's supposed to say robotaxi, we can, I guess. We're going to say it. They can't say it, but we can say it. Or Optimus. One of those two is going to have some kind of a headline because we made one jump. The next jump's probably going to require some good news to see that $550 price target.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see if that is in fact the case. But if we move over here to another Meg 7 name with tons of news, Nvidia this week, they had, this is kind of a quick little rundown of their deal with Intel. Again, you can find this on X at TTV Research, but was specifically with regards to Nvidia and Fabrica. My apologies there. Just over $900 million deal. They are going to be snapping up one of the leaders of the company, and they're calling this an acqui-hire, which is basically when you acquire the company or a portion of the company, then you also hire people from the company. Of course, Meta did something kind of similar with Scale AI, where they didn't acquire everything, but they took a notable stake, and they also took CEO and co-founder Alexander Wang. Now, I guess the goal of this as well is to help bolster their AI networking scale. Nvidia here, second acquisition or major investment, Neil, in like 48 hours.
That's what's amazing is they've got the money, they're spending the money, and at the end of the day, I kind of feel like we're seeing some pay for play of the Intel news. Now, we get it, I get it, the talent. You want to be able to acquire all the talent to consolidate your strength as the leader. That's what you do because you're in a power position. But on the Intel side of things, and this is not my opinion. Plenty of other people have been saying it, and it does make some sense. You know, maybe there's something to this. You cut a deal with Intel, which you know the U.S. government is backing, and you want U.S. companies to succeed in the space. And part of it could just be a step forward to maybe some loosening of selling chips to China. That's just speculation. Now, whether it is or not, if that were to happen, I believe that's why we're not breaking out the top on Nvidia. I'd like to believe they had a fantastic quarter. They've gotten good news on top of good news. But the one thing that hasn't happened is some security with the ability to address the Chinese market. And on top of this, Adair, we just recently saw the Chinese government come out and say we don't want certain sectors using foreign and Nvidia chips. And that's been holding the stock back a little bit. So all the spending is good, but I'm not sure it's the headline that we want to see for the next big move. I mean, the headline that we know Sharif is happy to see is that you can get the iPhone 17, because I know he's getting one.
Yes, you can, in fact, get the iPhone 17, and they actually have their first ever iPhone 17 Slim. This is going to be the global launch date. We know we had that event coming back over there last week, the September 9th all-dropping event. Unclear if it was kind of all-dropping for the stock, but I think people were really excited. We know there were lines, especially in China, people getting really amped over these, people trying to throw and being unable to break the iPhone Slims. So that, I think, probably a good look there. Again, the AI strategy, though, still will create questions, because even though they do have that demand in China, and I suspect if they go through with the foldable phone, that could help them in China as well, Apple wisely perhaps did not really directly mention AI during their last event. So, Neil, we know people want AI. Do you think, or when do you think we're going to see more of that implemented? Because as of right now, we have not.
I think this is their plan. I think they've made their bed, and they're happy to be in it with Apple. Because at the end of the day, everyone's going to engage with, well, a lot of people are going to engage with AI through a physical device. So Apple seems to have decided that, you know what? If we can just make sure that everyone has our device in their hands, then you're just going to have the different apps that will allow you to utilize the functionality that AI is bringing to us. So whether that's Perplexity or pick one, like if you're like, are you getting away from Meta just because you have an Apple phone? Do you not know anyone with WhatsApp? If you have X and maybe you like Grok, there's just so many ways in which you can engage. And I think Apple is they're sticking to what they do the best. And rightly or wrongly, a lot of people seem to disagree, and sometimes the price action reflected this. They're sticking to what they believe they do the best, which is try to make the device and keep everyone on the platform and let everybody come to you. And so far, the market seems to be reacting to that pretty well lately. Yeah. That's my takeaway from it. I haven't always been a believer that that's actually the right way to go for them, but it seems to be working, and it's all that ends up mattering. It's not your opinion. It's price is pretty much always going to be right in this particular case. So I think so far, so good for the launch. And this is going to quell some of these, hey, you're not doing enough with AI concerns, at least in the short term here with Apple.
Yeah, I mean, we have like a couple other stories as well here, Neil, today, of course. I think FedEx, certainly one of them with those earnings. As you mentioned, we kind of really glossed over these, but they did have a double beat, a nice double beat as well. Some support around this could potentially be 233. Today, it actually ended up being 230 by the end of the day, and there is some resistance if you get to that 240 area, as we saw last night. And as I mentioned during the midday, it's interesting. This is like the annual revenue for FedEx and its competitor UPS over the last 25 years. Neil, their revenue was not the same, but the revenue trends are identical, which really shows that this is very much going to be a sector story. So what do FedEx's earnings mean for UPS? We'll have to find out, but UPS weirdly got a downgrade today, while FedEx got an upgrade.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about it. And, you know, I know it got swept under the rug, but I think from a growth standpoint, like, unfortunately for them, it's just not what's hot. Like, you're not going to have all of these tech names going crazy, all-time highs, pretty much in every single sector, but led by some of the bigger tech names that we've been demonstrating and showing you. And it's just not going to lend itself well to investors carrying as much as I think they could have with FedEx. And there was that big seller at 245. I think was a rather large problem. But there is something when we're looking at the quantum space here, right? And I'm gonna pick on Rigetti here. They got an Air Force contract this week, and so that's obviously going to be good for them. And I know there's a lot of tickers here. Some people like IonQ, some people like QBTS, some people like D-Wave, some people like QUBT. Rigetti they all just have had fantastic runs, but Rigetti in particular, this one just reached a couple of days ago. You're breaking out the all-time high, and looking for what is next. It's a pure squeeze play, everybody. 22% to the upside. 22% short float here, and it's just straight up a squeeze breakout play. Lots of people will talk to you about valuation. For me, that's 100% true. I mean, you're talking about getting a small $45 million contract when the company has a market cap north of, all four of them are in like the billions, and you have these small deals on revenue. They're not actually moving the needle from a fundamental point. But what they are doing is furthering the squeeze, because any positive headline just squeezes it further. Now, what I'm looking at in particular is what looks like an overextension here with Rigetti. Yeah. Right, like if you look at the move from the low, if we can come to my chart for a second, just for what's next week, if you look at the move from the low, you got $7 into 18. Right, like that was 2.5x. So if you look at the last range that we were in, it's an $11 range, and we just put that same $11 in from the breakout to the high. I'm thinking maybe you're due for a little bit of a pullback, and as long as it holds the prior high, that's going to be gold. We've seen it before, big parabolic move, where does it pull back to, and then you get phase two. Because it was a range of $11 and we just put an $11 range in, you could go the percent move and then you'd see it somewhere in the 30s before it turns back. But my first thought in this one in particular is maybe we get a nice little dip buy into the prior high for the next couple of weeks. That's my thoughts there for the next possible look, specifically on Rigetti.
Yeah, I think Rigetti will be interesting. I think, as you mentioned, though, they're all really strong, but Neil, only one of them didn't have a catalyst in the last 48 hours. That is QUBT. So now, I don't want to pick on QUBT, but it does beg the question, A, does this one maybe get its own news catalyst to propel things forward? Or B, is it just going to be a little bit swept in the dust or like left behind, right? Because we know QBTS had some news earlier today, of course. We had IonQ yesterday with their own catalyst. And Yeah, like we already talked about Rigetti, so I think that's going to be interesting. I don't have the infographic pulled up right now, unfortunately, but I did talk about it during the midday. Much like what you've got here with UPS and FedEx, all of these quantum names tend to move pretty similarly when it comes to their stock performances over a 1 month period. So I think it is very much a sectoral type move for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And there was something that happened today, everybody, that I think, we saw the big imbalances, and we saw Robinhood moving. We saw HL moving around a lot in the last 10 minutes, and all that crazy excitement. If you've never seen it before, it can be a little bit daunting for traders. And if you've ever wondered, particularly, how professional traders will make tons of money or get these big, fantastic moves when nothing new has actually happened, then you got to talk about what's something big in Wall Street and one of its favorite playgrounds, and that's simply index rebalancing. And on the single day, back in June 2025, you had $217 billion in US stocks trading hands in a matter of minutes. We saw Palantir go down 10% and then recover out of nowhere. And this is not because of earnings. Nothing to do with it. And it wasn't because of any breaking news. It was simply of a process called index rebalancing. And today we want to show you why the indexes do this, how it works, and why every investor out there needs to understand it. And that's an important thing, everybody. You need to understand it. So think of an index like a VIP list, right? The S&P 500, you got the 500 biggest companies in the US markets. But that list is constantly changing. The S&P decides who are the most deserving names. They got some rules around it. Which names are going to be making money? You've got to be profitable in multiple quarters. But they have their own discretion to be able to decide who's going to go in there. And they swap companies in and out. The NASDAQ 100 does this. They also have the Russell 200 do this as well. Funds tracking these indices have to make sure that they are adjusting by buying and selling individual names so that they can track the market. This causes big coordinated trading waves. And here's the other thing about this. A lot of smart traders are not waiting around until rebalance day. They jump in early. Robinhood, since it was speculated to be going in to when it jumped in, I mean, it's gone $10 here, $20 there. The chart's been at least a double up since the first time you heard it might go in, and it was another 10% when it was said it was going to be added. So if you think about how this works the days and weeks before, you do have a bit of a buy into the expected news, and then you get the event on the particular day. And remember, when that giant wave of forced buying hits the market, the price spikes. And a lot of smart traders will unload at that moment, especially at the end of the day, to get that profit. That's an important thing to remember. There's an announcement. Oftentimes, you're going to get a buy up into the event on the actual day. In the last 10 minutes, if there's a buy and bounce, you get that big spike. And then profit taking en masse. You don't want to get caught holding that bag because once the event is over, it does sometimes pull back pretty quickly. So the biggest examples of this are quarterly rebalancing on major indexes. So you're going to get it, obviously, in March, and then June, and then you're going to get it September, and then December. Always big time events. And you've got to understand, this process is always ongoing. Volatility across the board, sometimes at the open, but specifically at the close, will be big. Oftentimes, another feature of this is you will see specific sectors move more in concert. So you might see a situation where there's a bunch of tech names or fintech names lately getting added, and then you'll have in concert them moving. Or maybe it could be healthcare, something along those lines. And let's look at something almost particular. The Russell 2000 in particular. We saw that today when we were looking at the imbalances live on the show. And that was where you had a wealth of the small to mid-cap names all being adjusted at the same time, which causes even greater chaos because they don't have the same level of liquidity, and you get bigger moves. And there were $217 billion traded in these closing auctions. And remember, for companies, it's not just about getting the stock bump. The ability to be, say, you're in the S&P 500 or you're in the Russell 200 gives all of these names the added prestige The fact that you're in the index, more likely to have people invest in you. It gives you a credibility. So this is a big event for stocks. There's a reason why everyone was pushing for Robinhood to go in. And when we see it happen as traders, you only get one shot for a Robinhood to go into the index. You only get one shot when Tesla went into the index. We'll only get one shot one day when Carvana goes into the index. So taking advantage of this volatility, especially at the end of the day, can be absolutely huge. And those closing imbalances have been great. You saw a bit of it today, and we hope to be able to see that the next quarter as well. So we get questions about this a lot, Adara. And I just wanted to take that opportunity to be able to go over it for everybody, just because it's so important to understand the process of the why, so that when we're talking about the show, we can get into the nitty gritty and show you guys the trades, but you understand what it is that's physically happening in that moment.
Of course, right? Like when we're here with you guys, markets close, we have a little bit more time to go over things, and we hope you guys found that helpful and that you're going to enjoy more educational type of moves, because we are obviously here about live trading, about giving you the news, but also sometimes you have to like look back and reflect and think, how could we do better and what can we achieve tomorrow?
Exactly. And I wanted to, we actually have Steve, and I know we had a lot to talk about today because it was a lot to cover. And I want to make sure we have a chance to get Steve in on Trader Talk, because I know, as any trader knows, today a big, big day, and we saw a lot of crazy moves. Want to make sure everyone stays educated. But our good friend is back. It's Friday. I know he's going to be here. And there he is, Steve Town, welcome back. First of all, apologies, I got rambling a little bit there, and when I get rambling, you know how it can go, but it's a pleasure having you on, Steve from Trade the Pool.
Hey, no worries. I was enjoying the rambles, Neil. Thanks for having me.
So just before we get into maybe some individual names, just to the topic we were just mentioning, the index rebalancing. Obviously, this is the quarterly rebalance. So you're going to have a lot going on, the Russell, the NASDAQ, and of course, S&P, and we saw Robinhood getting added to the S&P 500. Did you have any trades around the imbalances, or were you maybe in something that was being affected and you had to take action, or at least were attuned to what was going on at the close today?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a very big week for me, but they haven't been centered around the rebalances. So
Gotcha.
The whole rebalance plays have been flying under my radar. Rigetti and Intel have been keeping me very busy this week. So that's where my head's at, to be honest.
Okay, well, let's start with Rigetti, because I was just talking about Rigetti. I have some thoughts on maybe the next week, because this was very explosive. No questions asked the last couple of days. I know you like this name. Walk us through when you have something that just went, what do we go, like $12 in 5 days, and the range that it sat in for it seemed like half a year. It just did that same move effectively in a week. So what do we do here? Because it was a headline that fundamentally is not that big of a deal, but the squeeze is certainly on. So how does anybody position themselves for next week after this if they're sitting in it?
Well, how I've positioned myself with Rigetti is I am out of it. So it hit my stretch target of 25 so darn quick. I was out yesterday, and today was just icing on the cake for anybody who stayed in. If you're still holding this, I like your strategy of looking for a back test of this previous high. The next fib level up, we look at the weekly chart here, is that 2661 extension, and that's at 32-ish. So for me, I got to wait for this to settle. It's so extended. It is massively squeezed on the weekly here, and I think it's probably due for a back test, maybe a flag around that 25 handle. So I think it's really important to lock in gains on these incredible movers and not get too upset if they keep going another 8% the day after you sell.
I think you nailed it with the last part. Not get too upset if they keep going. If they hit their target, that's a good problem to have. If it ends up going further, it just means your next call, maybe you find a way to hold that a little bit or hold on to a piece for the dream. But I think that's fantastic advice there. And I want to thank you, because I know we always have you on, and you made some good calls here. And I want to thank you for bringing that to everybody's attention. But let's talk some Intel. It's not very often we see what we saw here in terms of movement from Intel. It's not that kind of a stock. Obviously, it's a big headline with the Nvidia, both investment and then tie-up or partnership. It's not in the fab, which I think would have been a bigger deal. But certainly a name we've never heard come out of your mouth. Steve, so what are your thoughts here?
Well, let's see. I've been, people haven't loved how bullish I've been on Intel until this week. Maybe I haven't mentioned it on this show, but on Twitter I've been talking about how it looks like this. Oh, let me show you my real chart here. How it looks like it was forming this wick-off accumulation pattern. So on my weekly chart here, you can see, let me edit that, there we go. So we had a really, really clean mirroring of this wick-off accumulation pattern with the spring into that SOS, which is where I was starting to take heavy positions, and I wouldn't shut up about it here. So for me, it was a really interesting play because everything else was moving, but this thing was pinned to this 2450 to 25 zone. And when it got the pop in the back test, I was incredibly bullish here, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but it just felt like some news was brewing. So this is one of those things where you don't need to be a fundamental, expert. I had no idea what was going to happen, but when a chart gets that tight and people just keep hammering calls, that makes it really appealing when it's in a bigger setup like this wick off base.
Yeah, and that's a great look. And I think sometimes it's like, well, what does it tell you? And I don't want to be all tinfoil hat or anything, but when you get major news like that, and there was also just an investment from the US government into them, you kind of wonder if it doesn't get held. Sometimes the stocks will get held in a range so that accumulation can happen. And let's be real, let's be frank, we all know this happens in the market. So when it shows it to you and it's a good setup, sometimes you just take it and then you look back and the news that needed to make it happen hits. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that over the years. So I'm glad, and you brought a lot of names to us. Intel is a name that certainly does not get a lot of love from an investment standpoint, and it's not always a popular day trading stock. But can you just give me your thoughts on what to do next with this? Because there's a lot of profit taking the last 2 days. On a high volume, you've had a lot of selling on Intel the last couple of sessions. But from your technical setup, it would probably seem pretty good. Are you thinking reload on any dips, or is this just, okay, well, I'm already in, this is just about where I get out?
Great question. So I think it depends on how you're playing this. So I had a shares position and I had an options position. Obviously, I am all out of the short dated options. They did incredibly well. What I am doing is I'm just going to be watching for where buyers do step in. So I was watching today and yesterday. Excuse this super messy chart. I've been trading these heavily. My system is basically centered around waiting for triggers to catch up on these breakouts. So this green level here, this is where I would expect buyers to start stepping in. As you can see, at the end of the day, they did show a little bit of interest here, but it's been such a big move. And like you said, such high volume that I need to wait for this to really set up again for me to reload in my shares. That being said, I took a little bit of shares off right at the open just because it was a massive move and I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm holding 3/4 of my shares though. So I think that the move continues. It might take a while, but I'm gonna say it. I think this is a secular bottom. I think that Intel next year is going to be up in the 30 to 40 range, and I don't see what bad news could be on the radar that could derail it now that it's tanked so much bad news and seems to be having a turnaround story here.
Well, they've had about all the bad news they can have. They've told us their foundry won't be making money for another 2 or 3 years, and I don't know what else could possibly hit them. But before we get you out of here, I want to just praise you for one thing. We had you on with, and Joe was on with me, and you guys I just sat back and listened to you guys talk options. But I really like this hybrid options with a shares position, because now that you've banked on your short dated options, you can hold an aggressive portion of the shares because you've already banked, and therefore holding 75%. Because I can tell you, it's so easy to get trigger fingers out and just see the selling in the last couple of days and take a lot off of it just because you're banking that profit when you see 20 or 30% in a short period of time. So I think it's a great strategy to be able to leverage it up a little bit and then be confident to be able to hold on some when you get the move. And it's always a fun having you, Steve. Before we get you out of here, any last or final thoughts or things you want us to look at for next week?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wish I was on a few days ago so I could say nuclear energy, because that is, all those names are going crazy again, the nuclear reactors. I'm still incredibly bullish on data centers and energy plays. So also rare earth minerals. I don't know if we talked about that. I'm all over the place, but MP, I loaded that this week, and I think that that's going to continue to break out. Perfect high and tight flag setup there off 65.
Yeah, that's one that MP just bounced off to 50-period SMA on the daily as well. I like that stock too. So Sharif on the show, he's a big fan of MP material. So that's the one we'll watch. We got to figure out a way, because I know we have you on every single Friday. Maybe maybe you can, if you ever feel the need, Steve, just shoot us like a message or something, or DM me if you want us to go. And I'll just do it. Hey, Steve's mentioning this, and we'll talk about it on Friday, but this was his look, just to give the viewers sometimes a bit of a head up. You know, sometimes we'll have guests on early. We always have you on a Friday, which when things happen during the week, you know, sometimes can be post after the fact. Great call on Rigetti, no questions asked about that. And best of luck on the Intel trade. Have a fantastic weekend as well. Hopefully the weather doesn't go into full fall mode and you can enjoy the outdoors. But Steve, it's always a pleasure having you on. We look forward to talking to you next week. Have a fantastic weekend, brother.
Thanks so much. I'll shoot you a heads up for the next big play. And follow me on Twitter if you can't find it there. Thanks so much.
There he is. Thank you very much, sir, Steve. And now I've held, and Steve's still right there. There he is. No. And now I've held him to this because now when he's got a call, he has to tell us before Friday. See, this is what we do right now. It's all in good fun, everybody. I want to thank Steve for coming on. As always, a fantastic guest. But it's well past 4:30 because I can't shut up. That's me. You know, I place the blame solely on myself for rambling all the time. But we got to make sure we get the roll call in, Adara, because some things around here have to happen. And roll call, I don't care. Don't give me the siren. We got to do roll call first, Fabian. I see you with the trigger finger on that button. If you don't know what roll call is, then jump in the chat right now. It's a subs-only chat, so hit the subscribe button right now. Thank you for the 42 gift, Mr. Westermeyer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the chat so Derek can read it rapid style in here, and I'm going to go gift and to @D Westermeyer. You gave me 42, you get back 69. That's how inflation works over here. So that's what I'm going to do. Everyone have a fantastic weekend. Shout out somebody on the team. Shout out Steve. Shout out another belated happy birthday to Sean. It was his birthday this week. But whatever you do, make sure you do it in the chat so Derek can get to your name.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for being here with us every single day. Thank you to Victor Liu, Gotham House, Apple Money, Grandmother's Garden, Q Trader 21, Reloaded Reloyes. We've got Michael Baldwin, Ebenfold Portfolio, Day in the Life, Wall Street Only Grav, Austin, Schwans, Scuba Scoots. We've got Walt Winchell, Derek Thompson, Baby Buffett, Marie Dangerous, Ian Rispetto, Ford Trader, Schwans again, John Von Sowers, Paul Newman, RIP, and shout out to Paul Newman, Ed George, 215 Sugar Free, no stop loss, maybe stop loss, but you know, shout out to no stop loss in the chat, Mr. Fishes for Fish, Andrew Chow, Bogdan, Freddie Fulcrum, and thank you to Neil, Sean, Sharif, Joe, Brendo, we've got Fabian, Ramin, Andre, and we have Wayne aggressively waving the hammer in the background. So behave well, people. There's Obi. You'll see Obi on Monday, and you'll see all of us on Monday, actually. But if you guys follow X at TTV Research, you will get content during the weekend because I continue to do that. So stay tuned. Weekend infographics to give you a sense of what to look for next week, which is when we will see you next. Although you ain't
gonna see me on Monday. I'm gonna be in Halifax visiting my brother. I have not. It's been way too long. You got to see your family as much as you can. It is what it is. I say it straight up, and I haven't seen my brother in it's almost a year. Which, you know what? I don't get emotional about it. We're pretty close, and I haven't seen him in too long, so I'm going to be away. Obi's going to be filling in. He'll do a fantastic job like he always does. We're Trader TV Live. This has been the Market Recap Show brought to you by Beta Pro by GlobeX. Have a fantastic weekend. See you next week.
See you guys.
Thank you very much, Dara.